Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means? It's time to you got aboard the mothership, and this mothership is going to beam some earthlies aboard here tonight. We're going to be discussing wrestling news, and the hottest news, ladies and gentlemen, is the Vince McMahon story. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Netflix. We're going to talk about WWE. We're going to talk about all things WWE here tonight. We have an AEW story to get to. We got AEW Dynamite to get to. We've got Royal Rumble predictions. So it's going to be a massive show. It's going to be a massive show here tonight on the Wrestling Experience, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back and enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen, because tonight we're going to get really picante spicy with this Vince McMahon story. And here we go.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, The Wrestling Experience, with your host Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, The Wrestling Experience. Now with your host Earl Cole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience with Earl and Sarah. Proudly presents the Wrestling Experience. You've landed on the mothership, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, yes, tonight's show is powered by the Hardcore Sports. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Today has been a day of bombshells. And I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about a big one, a big bombshell. And that was coming up here today. But I'm not here alone, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen, no. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome. She is revered by everyone here at the Hardcore Sports, ladies and gentlemen. She's Wisconsin's darling, ladies and gentlemen. She's my co-pilot each and every Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. And she joins me on the streams every time, ladies and gentlemen. She's got a friend named Denty, who's her bestie. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and the only Sarah Let's go.
Hey Earl, how's it going?
I'm doing fine, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Wrestling
Sure.
Experience. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman has been on my show many times over, ladies and gentlemen, and I really admire his wrestling prowess, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a mind for wrestling, and he's going to help me with this, with all of tonight's extravaganza. And I'm glad to have him back on the Wrestling Experience. Please help me welcome and clap it up for the one and the only Hooligrim is here. Let's start Hooligrim to the parade.
Yay, Hooligrim!
Hooligrim, thank you so much for coming out to the Wrestling Experience. Oh, I think he's muted. I think Hooligrim's muted.
I got to be smarter than my headset.
Oh, okay.
Always something with me. Anyway,
It's okay. It's okay, Hooligrim. Tonight, guys, here's what's on the menu. We've got AEW Dynamite. We've got the Royal Rumble prediction show. We've got wrestling news. But ladies and gentlemen, none bigger than Mr. McMahon. Ladies and gentlemen, this story is shocking. And it is riveting. And what I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. The language that I'm about to use on this story, ladies and gentlemen, it does not reflect me. It doesn't reflect the guests, or it reflects anyone here on this panel. Okay? So I don't want you all to come back on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that and talk about I'm using dirty language on my show. This is just what I printed out and what I'm going to read. I'm just a messenger.
It's a
this-
story.
this is
It's
gonna
a
get.
story.
This is gonna
This
get
is a
interesting.
story, ladies and gentlemen, and the people involved in it, you are going to be shocked. Ladies and gentlemen,
Are you
this
sure we
road-
have enough time to cover everything that you brought up on
No,
today?
no, no, no. Well,
Holy shit, we're gonna be
Hooligrim.
here for 9 hours.
Well, Hooligrim.
Good Christ.
It's a 4-page story, and it needs to be told. One of them is a text message, and you will not believe the language in that text
Oh
message.
my god.
Let's
Um,
get to the goodies.
I don't know if I want to know. I'm like kind of
uh,
scared right now.
all right. So Vince McMahon was accused of sex trafficking by a WWE staffer, according to the Wall Street Journal. Apparently,
Hey.
Mr. McMahon ordered threesomes backstage while he was in creative, ladies and gentlemen. And apparently, ladies and gentlemen, it involves several WWE superstars who was on contract. Right. All right. So, Janelle Grant, one of the women in Vince McMahon's NDA scandal, was instructed, listen to this, was instructed to take sexual photos and videos of Brock Lesnar. Okay. For him to re-sign with the WWE. Mr. McMahon says, and I quote, fucking Brock Lesnar, I love to see him naked.
Hold on, I'm trying to make popcorn.
Good Lord.
Was part of the deal. Okay, so now now he told Janelle to go backstage and to make love to Brock Lesnar so he can re-sign with the WWE.
I'm sorry.
What?
Yes, Brock Lesnar told the victim that he likes what he sees, and after obtaining her phone number, he instructed the victim to send videos of her naked.
I already have a question. I don't mean to
Yes,
interrupt you, Earl.
yes.
Just the verbiage. Like I was reading some of it earlier. Who? This came out of the Wall Street Journal, right? Did they say? Did they give the name of the reporter?
No, they didn't. This was
Because
an
some of
anonymous.
the. Go ahead.
This was no, they didn't give the name of the reporter. However, the story did broke on the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, which is a reputable news article, but just some of the verbiage that's being used
I know,
sounds rather trolly. You know
I
what I'm
know,
saying?
I know. I'm gonna try to clean it up as best as I. But this is what was written. I didn't write this. This
No,
was
I get
written.
it. I get it. I just when you
I
think
just
about like serious allegations like of this nature, usually um like putting out those little details, I don't know.
and then
This is
well,
crazy. This is a crazy
this
story. I'll
is
let you finish.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay, Hooligrim. So anyway, Lesnar obtained the phone number of the woman. Okay, he instructed the victim to send videos of her urinating after he called her a bitch. Okay, so that okay. All right.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so
This is crazy.
that was one piece. Okay, in July of 2021, the suit says Mr. McMahon instructed Grant to create personal sexual content for WWE superstar that he was trying to re-sign. The suit didn't name the professional wrestler, but it describes him as a UFC fighter and the WWE talent. Okay, so there's only two people in WWE that is a UFC fighter,
Brock,
and that is a male. One is Brock Lesnar,
no
and
shame here.
one is Riddle, ladies
But
and
he's not
gentlemen.
with WWE anymore.
No, but this happened in
Oh,
2021.
okay,
Okay.
got you. Okay.
And so people familiar with the matter identified the wrestler as Lesnar. So it
Yeah.
is Lesnar. And one of the biggest names in the WWE. Lesnar did not respond to the request for comment. Okay. The suit says Mr. McMahon shared explicit photos with the superstar and informed Grant that he likes what he sees. After the star agreed to sign the WWE contract, McMahon texted Grant in August of 2021 as part of the deal, and he says to her in the text, "Did you blank him yesterday?" Um, Gross.
So it sounds like Vince was taking an active interest in making sure this woman was performing specific duties not
Yes,
related to her actual job
right,
title, which
right,
is kind of
exactly.
crazy that he would have that much involvement. It's also crazy that Brock Lesnar, being known,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
being a globally known celebrity, who's also married, would do
This guy
do
is a
be a part of
this is
something like that. Like that was the biggest thing
Vince
in all
Mc,
this to me was Brock Lesnar
right.
being mentioned. It was like I don't for 1 second put it past Vince or John Laurinaitis to be scummy, but I was very shocked about with them implicating
This what
Brock
I
Lesnar.
that's what and I'm going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. Again, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the language. I do apologize for everything, but I am just a messenger, and I'm just reading what I was printing out today. That December, McMahon gave Grant personal cell phone numbers to WWE superstar. The lawsuit says that the wrestler had sent a video of herself urinating, and that the suit says that she did after she did this. Vince McMahon called her the B word, and the same month, the suit says that the star expressed desire to set a play date in his house, but she couldn't get to his house because of the snowstorm.
But I thought this was in July
Well, now we're going up into this. This has been going on since July, and now we're going through December.
of last year,
Um,
or what year are we talking
yeah,
about?
I believe it was. I believe it was last year.
Okay.
But she couldn't. She couldn't make it to his house because of the snowstorm disrupted his travel
You,
plans.
you mean December of 2022, right?
Yeah,
Not
you
last month.
right,
Okay.
right. Okay. After the threesome began, Mr. McMahon became more sadistic, and his fantasies focused on controlling, such as
Do you
again,
see what
like
I'm
I
saying,
said,
though, Earl? Do you see the wordage that this article is
yeah,
using?
yeah,
It
yeah,
almost seems like someone's personally like going after Vince, which if this is an unbiased journalist reporting this, I find it hard to believe that they would use just the specific words that are being used in this article. That's why I kind of have my eyebrow raised at this
yeah.
whole story.
I know. I know. Like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of people come after me and they talk about dirt cheats and everything. I again, like I said before, this is what I printed out, and this is the story. I don't know whether this is fact, live, Memorex, or whatever, but this is this is what was written. Um, after after that, okay, his fantasies became more such as controlling, such as he likes to choke, censor deprive, pain, humiliation, and um, group successions in which Miss Grant was physically overwhelmed and subservient. Now, what I'm about to read to you, ladies and gentlemen, is the text message. The text message is very graphic, so I'm not going to use any of the language that's in the text message. Your last picture, you need your. Okay, he said about her panties. Okay, we got that. And then he said, and three big whatever, um, whatever those are, and all three holes at the same time, way up. And the P word was used on her, uh, way up the behind. He says, but he used another word for behind, which I won't use that. And thick socks goes down her throat. The thickest, the thickest part of the. Okay, never mind. I can't use that. And then he said, then she said he wants her to gag. He wants her to gag on it and convulse on it, and then he wants her to use the big black thing that he calls a whatchamacallit, and then he says something about a nonstop when you Okay, and then he passes. This is very graphic, so I'm not going to read everything. Um, you lay on your stomach, and then blank, blank, blank all over you, and then I turn over and then I jack. This is disgusting.
Is this linked at all to why they made him retire in 2022?
I think so because this is disgusting.
Good
This is
Lord.
probably one of the worst things I have ever read about an executive in a wrestling company. This was gross. I almost brought up my lunch listening to this.
Well,
Jesus. That poor woman.
it's hard for me. Mm, it's hard for me to respond. I don't know how I want. I mean, there's so much I want to say, but it's all predicated on. Okay, so when Vince retired, and then the allegations first got brought up, I think everybody that's been a long time watcher of WWE that knows anything about the history of Vincent McMahon probably thought no big surprise, we figured something like this was going to happen. I was one of those people. However, again, reading this story and the way it was written, there's a fuck sorry, there's a trolling quality, there's a trolling element in this article just the way it was written. And as somebody that used to do a lot of writing, that doesn't sound like the writing from a news, like when you're reading an article out of the newspaper, I guess, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying. The language and the way the verbiage and the way it was written. But if these allegations are true, this
If they're
is
true,
this if they're true, this is disgusting.
yeah, it's disgusting. I just,
It, it,
and
it's just
I'm one of the first people to knock Vince, and to be
I,
right there, I'm the one of the first people to be like when the news came out today. I'm like, hallelujah, we can finally rejoice, like Vince is about to be gone, right? But then the more I thought about it, I don't want to send somebody to the gallows that didn't do it. You know what I mean?
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the problem that we have here. He's been accused of being a vicious animal towards women. Very, very volatile things he used to do with women in this limousine, and everybody used to say how nasty he was behind the scenes. If you look at his product when he used to produce the women's division and how he liked the women in the bra and the panty, something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. If you can't treat a woman as a woman and do it professionally and not look at her like she's some piece of meat and you want her tonight, tomorrow, and yes. And I'm sorry to talk like that. I'm sorry to talk like that. I'm sorry to talk like that, but I'm angry at this. I've got two sisters and I've got a mother. If some man talk to my mother or sisters like this kind of garbage, I'm going to be in jail because I will rip them up. I don't believe in talking to a woman like this. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in looking up women like that. I don't believe in that. And this is garbage. This is absolutely the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life in a wrestling organization. We went from something good to something like this. I don't know what I don't know what to say. I don't have any more words for it. All I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is garbage. Sarah, what do you think?
I I don't know. Like Hooligrim said, I don't want to say somebody's guilty and condemn them if it's not true. But history, things that have happened, to me, it kind of leans me to thinking that this did happen, that this was the case. Like Hooligrim said, John Laurinaitis, Vince McMahon, they're pigs. We've all known that for a long, long time. Um, it's just, I feel
Brock
bad if
Lesnar
this.
being part of this is
I
like,
mean,
what?
that's the thing. I'm like, and if this is not true, you're bringing other people into this now, Brock
That
Lesnar, and that's bad. And if it is true, that poor woman, my God, it just, so it makes me, think as you and Hologram have been talking, it makes me wonder if TKO Endeavor found out about this and that is why they ousted him from creative. That's why they're doing what they can to get Vince, minimize his
get
hold
him out.
in WWE and get him the heck out of there.
Get him
It,
out.
I think this is I think this is the final
And now with
straw.
this news
Oh,
breaking,
I
he's
think
out of
this,
there.
whether he's guilty or not, I think Vince is as good as gone. And I think Sarah's
This
right about, oh man, I have so much to say on this, man.
Go ahead, hologram, say it,
Please,
say it,
please, yeah.
So here's the
say
thing,
it.
like this morning I got on Twitter and I was very vocal. I've
I didn't even know any of this happened. I was at work.
so the IWC pretty much exploded when this came out this morning. I woke up to this shit and I'm like, oh good lord, like here we go.
Oh
And
man.
it's already been a roller coaster of a week with all the news with The Rock and him joining TKO and the week of the Rumble, and it feels like a very high energy WWE dominating news headlines throughout the week kind of week. I could just feel the energy all week long as we're getting closer to the Rumble. It's been a long time since I've been this hyped for a Royal Rumble. Um,
Yes.
and I find it very ironic that this is all coming out, like the timing of all this and the way that that report was written. I was on Twitter this morning, very vocal, shitting on Vince. No pun intended. Anyway, about the news. And then I got to thinking, so when I was a kid, and I tell you why I want to be careful about texting and trolling on social media to me is one thing, but having a platform where we're actively talking that anybody around the world can see this, I really want to be careful about what I say regarding Vince, only because when I was a kid, my parents had a couple that they were friends with who had a little daughter. This girl was about 3 years old. And my parents met this family through our church that we went to, of all places. And we lived in the mountains out in Colorado. So this mountain that we lived on, um, we lived at the top of this mountain, and you had to switch back down it. And at the base of the mountain was where our church was. And this family lived about halfway in between the church and where we lived at the top of the mountain. So we always passed by their house. Me and my sister would babysit their 3-year-old little daughter from time to time when my mom and her mom wanted to hang out and stuff. And one night we come home from church and it's about 10:30 at night, and then there's a knock on the door. Well, that's very startling, especially when you live where we lived. You don't really get a knock on the door that time of night. So to see the guys from church at the front door was like, well, we were just there an hour ago. Like, what? Long story short, this family accused my father of raping their 3-year-old daughter. And they had drummed up this insane story.
Oh my God.
They had this little girl falsely report details. They told her things to say to the police.
Jesus
So
Christ.
in the aftermath of all that and what had happened, my dad got exonerated in court, got cleared of all charges, proved that his innocence. Not really sure what. I was young at the time, so I don't really know what happened to the woman and her boyfriend or husband or whatever for accusing my father of that, or what they even did that for. Because, like I said, like my parents were always at their house, they were always at our house. Like, it was very, very weird. So this story, as I thought about it today, and as I'm typing, like, and I'm just sending troll comments and whatever. I started thinking about the lives that are actually probably being affected by this. And then it reminded me of my father and how it looks. It looks like this is something along the lines of sexual misconduct have taken place within WWE, I would assume, for many decades. And when you're in that type of industry, and think about back in the 80s when it's fueled by drugs and alcohol, all the wrestlers are not so
Right.
conscientious of their bodies and treating
Sure.
them like temples. They're partying, they're doing drugs, they're out late at night, having run-ins with the law. It was probably, I'm sure it's no shock to anybody to hear us. We've recently had the Me Too movement and everything going on in Hollywood with all of the Weinstein case and Epstein
The
Island and all that
cancel
stuff.
culture.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody's surprised to hear that something like this was going on in WWE. But at the same time, like, I want to speak so much on the Vince McMahon was an actual role model of mine. Like, I wanted to be like the guy when I was a kid. I admired his business mind. I thought he was a genius. What he did with the wrestling, and I was so in love with the WWF and pro wrestling. There were times where I looked more up to Vince than my own father in certain aspects. So to read this news today, I thought about the thousands and thousands of dollars I've spent on WWF, WWE in my lifetime, the going to shows, the supporting of this guy's product, and to have an image of somebody in your head and to think you know what somebody is like. And then to wake up one day and they're a monster. Like, I after I thought about it for a while, I started getting angry at this story, and I'm like, I want my pound of flesh if this is true. Like, the guy
Well,
has taken billions of dollars globally from fans worldwide for 40, 50 years, Earl. Like, something like there should be a heavier price than just jail time that would have to be paid. You know what I mean? But at this point, if you saw the picture of Vince that was attached to that article on Twitter, I mean, I don't really think that. I mean, he looks like the Queen of England in her casket at this point. Like, I don't think Vince is probably going to be around much longer. He does not
uh,
look well at all.
um, um, uh, 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 how easy? is-
How easy. Brock is reportedly pulled from the Rumble.
Yep. Well, I'm
So
gonna
here's
tell
the
you this.
thing. That's interesting too, because if Brock was innocent, why wouldn't he just show up at the Rumble?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this.
Lee.
We are in a new realm of WWE. We are starting to evolve with the Endeavor and WWE aspects of the branch. And this Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, the WWE is about to enter a new era in the world of Endeavor. And Endeavor doesn't take guff from anyone. especially the investors, especially the board of directors and everything else. Um, this is not good news for the WWE. This is not good news. You don't want this kind of a distraction leading into this Saturday night's Royal Rumble. The WWE has plans on the table, and they need to have them put forward. And this is another black eye behind the scenes of Vince McMahon. This is a horrific thing that happens. And now that we know that Lesnar had no comment about the story, nor did he return phone calls of management, so now he's being punished. I wouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if we wake up tomorrow morning and hear that Lesnar has been in future endeavor.
Oh, like they fire him?
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised either.
No,
I
he's for sure gone.
He's
done.
He's done.
Shoot,
I'm going to tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. Endeavor doesn't play around.
No.
They don't like scandal. They don't look. Yep, look at Riddle. Look at Kevin Patrick. Look at all of them, ladies and gentlemen. They don't play around.
Yeah.
They don't like
with
drama.
Nonsense.
They don't like drama. They do not like things that cause the company a black eye. And if you become too much, ladies and gentlemen, you will be released because they don't have room for it. Triple H don't have time to play around with people, and neither does Endeavor. This is a PR nightmare.
God, it just makes me so sad. You know, it mentioned one woman in that article, but I'm thinking, okay, what other men and women were involved? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean there are others, Sarah. There are others. There are others. There's women like Mike McGurk. There's women like there's a lot of them. It's a laundry list.
It's just so sad.
He just can't seem to. He's so egomaniacal and so perverted and so and you know, and I understand about his childhood. They talked about his child. Yeah, I talked about his childhood and what he went through as a child. I understand all of that, but you can't display those things in a global company like the WWE. You can't do those things behind the scenes. You can't do those things. You can't see a woman walking behind the scenes and you just go all over the place. You lose yourself. You lose your focus.
Vince has had enough money for a long enough time that he could have gotten help for any issues he grew up with as a child.
Yes, but that's what I mean. But that's what I mean.
Yeah,
and then,
I don't want to hear
victim.
Has, I don't want to hear no victimized poor Vince.
No,
no,
I don't want to. I'm not hearing that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, he can miss me with all that.
Well, and just because you had a rough childhood, and things were done to you doesn't mean that you perpetuate that and you go and do stuff to other people.
Yeah.
Like if I was physically abused by a parent or a family member, do you honestly think I'm going to go physically abuse another child? Get the hell out of here. Like, that's ridiculous. Why would, you know what I mean? It doesn't give you a free pass.
Yeah, but you see, Sarah, you don't think, you think like that, but there are other people that don't think like that. They don't think like that. They're not built that way. They're not designed. They're not designed that way. And this is gross. This is just absolutely ridiculous.
It makes me angry to think that this is the guy that I supported for 30 plus years.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because me and Hooligrim did talk behind the scenes. And I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. You know, sometimes you put people on a pedestal, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes they disappoint the crap out of you. They really do. They really show their true colors to you. Really. Just when you think you have somebody that's good, they turn that leaf, ladies and gentlemen, and they turn the leaf of uncertainty and they let you down. I grew up with Vince McMahon. I grew up with Vince McMahon. I grew up with WWE. I bleed WWE because I grew up on this company when I was a child. My mom took me to WWE events, and then I went myself. I grew up on WWE, my humble beginnings. I can tell you stories about all the stuff that I've been through in my life with WWE.
You just
But
told a
this,
story last night
yeah,
about
yes,
how
I
you
yeah,
met Vince McMahon
yeah,
as a
yeah,
kid.
yeah. I have no
It's
respect for Vince
nuts.
McMahon anymore. I have no respect for him. I think this man is a pig and he
Vince,
needs help. He
he doesn't
needs
respect himself
help.
anymore.
No, he is
Yeah.
a monster. This man is a monster.
He sold his
A-
soul, and
And he gets away with murder. He gets away with murder because he has Jerry McDivitt in his corner, the most powerful lawyer you can possibly have. And he gets out of these
Sick.
situations. But you know what? I'm going to tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. If this story is true, and now it looks like it's leaning towards the true side, I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent Man needs to be jailed.
Oh,
He needs to
yeah.
go to jail for a very long time. A very long time. And I don't care what kind of lawyer you got. I don't care what kind of lawyer you got. You are not the judge and executioner here. You can't split the Atlantic Ocean and you certainly can't turn a crust of bread into a meal.
I I feel if you know anything about business, I feel like this is a very fine line that this woman's walking because if you're going after Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, that's a tall order to accomplish given the fact that you're up behind a gigantic billion-dollar generating corporation. However, if Vince McMahon's role is reduced significantly like it's been, and he's basically on the board of directors in name only, who even knows what actual hand he has in anything to do with TKO at this point? I'm guessing not much because TKO had already announced that they had lessened his role and that they were worried that he could be a problem for the company. So they knew something was coming down the pipeline. If you're going after Vince, like if he gets outed and he's just Vince McMahon, the person, I'm not going to call him a human being because at this point, there's nothing left inside that guy that resembles anything of a human being. Um, Greed has consumed that guy to the point where when I saw that picture of him today, I thought I was looking at the Emperor from Star Wars after he was Emperor Palpatine and he turns to the dark side and you watch his face just turn evil, right? That's what Vince looked like to me. And if he gets fired, if he gets completely removed from TKO, then maybe this woman has a chance. But he's got the who's who of an attorney team, so um, he's not going to go without. He's not going to go easily. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you this much. He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants, Hooligrim, but in the grand scheme of things, you have to get punished for your deadly sins. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't respect Vince McMahon anymore. I love the WWE. I love what they're doing with the Royal Rumble, and I like everything else that's going on with their deals and that. But I don't respect Vince anymore. I used to love the like Hooligrim said, his business acumen. Yes, okay, his business acumen is great. He created a juggernaut of a company, but him as a person, he's gross.
He's
He
a
is
shit human
gross.
being. I'll say it right
He's
now.
gross. He's
Yep.
gross, and that's the best word I can use for him. He's gross. He is
So
gross.
I have a question for you guys
Yeah.
because I've been seeing this across social media all day long. I was in another podcaster's chat earlier and was seeing the same comments.
Hmm.
So, because a lot of people are of the mindset now that they're done with the WWE. And my thinking is, if any time is the time to jump on board with WWE, it's probably now, especially once he gets completely removed. Why would you stop watching now? Like you've supported and watched the whole time that the monster was running the show, unbeknownst to us. But you were fine with it then, but now all of a sudden you have a problem with WWE because the story comes out about Vince and you want to not support the company. So my question to you guys is, I'm feeling some type of way knowing that I potentially helped, had a hand in putting this monster on his pedestal that gave him so much power over other people, other innocent lives. Do you stop watching WWE? Do you stop supporting them even if Vince gets removed because of his transgressions, or are you able to separate Vince, the person, from the company that he's created? Because to me, I'm not stopping watching WWE. That has nothing to do to me with Vince McMahon and what he's doing to people in the company that we can't see, that we don't know about until something like this comes out. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are saying that they're
Yeah,
done with WWE. So
I think you took the words right out of my mouth. I think you took the words right out of my mouth because here's the thing. Um, One person is not going to stop me from supporting a company that looks like they're on the cusp of something great. Especially this year, and uh, the wrestling calendar just begun. This company has now have a new deal with a new streaming service. They're taking their live events across the international waters. They are turning the ship around when it comes to live attendance. This company has turned this around, and we have to thank one person, Triple H and Endeavor, because they know that they have to keep the audience hopping, and they got to keep the business hopping. So I'm not going to stop um, supporting this company. What I'm gonna stop doing right now from this moment going forward is not respecting Vince McMahon anymore. I don't respect him at all. I respect what his mind did for this business, and I respect what he had created for this business. He created some great moments for the WWE, but as a person, Vince McMahon is gross. He's gross. He is a bona fide pig.
I
And
think what
I
they oh, sorry, Earl. I thought you were done.
no. Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I was gonna say what I think they should do, Endeavor or TKO or whatever. I think they really need to, not that they're not gonna take it seriously, but I think they really need to take this seriously and take it one step further, and they need to investigate and see who is still in WWE that was perpetuating this and a part of this, and they need to be removed as well.
well, they said
Yeah.
today in that article that there was an internal probe that was, when this all came out, they've been actively like looking within the company, I think, since
Okay,
it first was reported about that woman accusing Vince last year, whenever, 2022, whenever
okay.
it was. And I said at the beginning, when I think it was the day Vince announced that he was retiring on Twitter. I think that was the day I had said something on Twitter to the effect of, because Tony Khan runs AEW, and then we have Nick Khan in WWE. I said, wouldn't that be
Mhm.
funny if Nick Khan was related to Tony Khan, and because of his, Nick Khan grew up with The Rock. They were childhood best friends. So
Oh wow.
what if Nick Khan, related to Tony Khan, being friends with The Rock, allowed him to get into WWE to infiltrate within? I was totally trolling, but it's just very interesting. And like I said, the timing of all this. when you want to take into when you think about the way Stephanie left the company after the day before she resigned, she had just told a fan, "No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here." And then I woke up the next day, she's mysteriously resigned
Yep.
from her position, and all of a sudden,
I
and
was
it was
going to
like,
say to bring this up too.
she just said yesterday, she said she's not going anywhere. What? So you knew something was up, right?
Yeah.
Or how about
Yeah.
those board members, or 2 or 3 board members, after Vince announced that he was back? Those board members,
Oh, they quit.
they were
Yep.
gone. They're like, peace out, deuces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
So they probably know something more than meets the eye.
Well, Stephanie probably knew. Okay, if my dad's coming back, I'm out
I'm
because
out.
this shit's about to hit the fan, and you ain't gonna take me down along with, like, I had nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
Because it's gonna make her look some type of way because she's the daughter, and then she's running the company, and her dad still had a position at that point.
Yep.
It's gonna make it look like, what does Stephanie know? Does she know things? Does Triple H know things? I mean, there's been rumors for years. I remember as a teenager reading rumors about Vince using Stephanie as a piece to flirt with talent when it was time for negotiations. And then there's that long rumor that as an
That's
18-year-old,
gross.
there's that rumor that, and I'm just totally, I'm not saying this happened at all in any way, shape, or form, but there's a rumor that when Stephanie was just 18, that Vince, she had a thing going on with Macho Man at the time when she was barely 18. And Vince also wanted to do that story angle where Stephanie had his child, which is very strange. So it just made me wonder. Yeah, there was a storyline on the Attitude Era that Vince wanted to have. He was pushing very hard for, where Stephanie was carrying his child, was going to be the storyline.
Oh my God, that is disgusting.
So when you take all these like things from the past into consideration, and then you hear today's news, it's kind of hard to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, right?
No, because again, like I said it before, and I say it again. This guy is there's something. There's gotta be something mentally wrong with you.
Yes.
I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean to not sound mean or anything, but there's gotta be something mentally wrong with you. If you think that this is not normal. This
Do
is
you
not normal.
do you remember
No,
during the Attitude Era when Linda had come back and Vince was doing the storyline with Trish, and
yes.
I remember that.
you know what I mean? And he's caught standing behind Trish while Trish has been over, in the back.
I remember
in the,
all that.
Yeah,
and I remember
all
thinking
of
back
that.
then, like, I wonder if Vince actually does mess around on his wife. You know what I mean? And I thought that that was 20 years ago.
I don't know, dude. All I know is this.
Wouldn't surprise me.
This story I'm so like I'm so drained from it. It's just I don't even know what more words I can put on this story. All I can tell you is, ladies and gentlemen, that this is disgusting behavior.
I think this is why The Rock was brought in and put on the board of directors this week. I really do.
I'll tell you this much. That was shocking enough too. I mean, that was just shocking enough. But this is just absolutely it's just like a ton of bricks has just been opened and it just falls on everyone. And it's like, you know what this reminds you of? You ever heard of the saying?
Shout out to Mitch Kofsky. Sorry, Earl. I just saw him in the chat.
Okay, Mitch Kofsky's in the building. What was I gonna say? You ever heard of the saying, ladies and gentlemen, everyone's in on the joke except for you?
Oh,
That's
yeah, you
what
mean
this
my
is.
whole
This
life?
is. So that is what this is. That's what this feels like. But deep down inside, ladies and gentlemen, I can't respect this man anymore. I can't. I can't. You have to learn that in business, you have to be professional.
Think about the way he treats just the talent. Forget all the scandal stories. Just the way he treats the talent alone.
I mean, that's what I mean. That's why I began to stream about. Look at all the time. Like Sarah always brilliantly points out LeBron the panty,
Yeah, the brown panty
and
match.
and,
It's
and
like,
yeah, and he loves those things.
Hmm.
Sitting in gorilla watching that.
it was
What
a
kind of
weekly
behavior?
thing. Like I went
Yeah.
back and I started watching old episodes of Raw. 'Cause I'm like, I just want to watch old episodes of Raw. So I went on Peacock and I started watching them basically from '99, and I think I'm up to like 2008 now. And it
Like
was
every
like
week is a Braun panties match.
it was like a weekly thing on Raw. It was weekly. I'm like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
those
and,
days.
and you treat the women like garbage.
He just
That's not
treats.
how you don't treat women like that. That's not how you do that.
Well,
You
Just
treat them with respect and professionalism and their athleticism in the ring. That's what's important. Not what they wear and display in front of the audience. That's a piggish behavior. That's caveman behavior.
Vince didn't care about people. He didn't care about the wrestling business. He was
Damn.
on record as saying multiple times, like
cared about
Vince
the
cared
money.
about status and money, and Vince saw himself as wanting to be included in with the elitists and the well-to-do of the world, the politicians, the actors. He wanted to schmooze with all of them, and he figured out a way to do that. And he used everybody along the way, and in the end, he's gonna be left with what he's left with, and that's probably not gonna be much of anything.
Well, I say this much. I'm gonna say this last point on this story. I'm just I'm just tired of turning on my internet and hearing this awful thing. And when y'all tell you this much later, I had to go to a secret room today, ladies and gentlemen. I had to go to a secret room and read this article because to bring you these kind of stories, ladies and gentlemen, I have to censor myself, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't want you. I've already had some controversial moments this past week on Monday night. But I'm sorry for the language, ladies, but this
It's
You
this
not
good,
your
this
Earl?
fault.
is
There's a language in the article. They're text messages, Earl. It's not like you
You
were
good?
saying it. You're
yeah
Are you,
fine.
are you okay, my friend? You
yeah.
seem upset.
I'm just I'm not happy. I'm not happy,
Does
ladies and
this
gentlemen.
does this take away, in your opinion, from all the buzz that was surrounding the Rumble coming up this week?
Um.
Does it ruin it?
Uh,
Does it put a knock on it for you, or does it
well,
help bring it up?
it puts a little dent in the atmosphere. Um.
It's a damper on it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I was excited to produce the Royal Rumble and to call the matches and everything, but I hate when I have to read something that even though I don't know someone or I don't know anything, but when I read like something is being done to someone, it affects me deeply
Hmm.
because it's almost like I know this person for like years, and now that I find out that this is going on and this is happening to them, I want to take their place. I don't know if that's the right thing or not.
There's a
You know
term
what
for
I'm
that,
saying?
Earl.
Uh, Um,
You're what's called an empath.
yeah.
You know how to put yourself in other people's shoes and feel what they're feeling.
Yeah. I'm very empathetic,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, to people's feelings and everything, ladies and gentlemen. When I hear things like this happen to people, it hurts me. because I like to see people happy, and I like to see people, but have a smile. And I know that we can't be happy all the time. I understand that. That's the way the world works, ladies and gentlemen. But things like this, I don't like hearing it. I don't like hearing it because I think of my female friends. I think about my mother, my two sisters, ladies and gentlemen, and it hurts. Um,
Well,
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
there's other news
Yeah,
we could talk about if you want to switch topics.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue. I'm going to gather my thoughts for a second. I'm sorry. Um, we're going
Take
to
your time.
continue with
it's
the
okay,
wrestling
Earl.
news.
You're fine.
We're going to continue with the wrestling news, ladies and gentlemen. And this story is about AEW. All right, let's get to that first.
I'm gonna turn my camera off for a minute, real quick. Just don't mind me. I'll be back in a second. I'm still
Okay,
here, so if you talk to me, I can still respond.
okay. Um, AEW has emerged as a major opportunity for athletes who are looking to establish themselves as rising stars in the wrestling world. After 5 years of its inception, it is time that they are heading towards a new direction in terms of televised programming. Tony Khan has been positioned as a primetime attraction for television networks such as TNT, TBS, and their flagship shows Rampage, Dynamite, and Collision. Moreover, it's been viewed as the most significant beacon of opportunity for stars like Kraft and MJF and Darby Allin, and so much more.
I thought of you today because I came across something and it said the word craft was on it, and it made me think of you instantly, and I started laughing.
Oh my gosh. However, the host of the Wrestling Observer, Andrew Zarian, took to X to report something interesting news regarding AEW's rumored new direction. This came to the midst of the amazing announcement that Monday Night War will find its new home on Netflix and broadcasting in 2025. Zarian noted that the close source mentioned to him that All Elite Wrestling was heading in the direction of becoming a cable streaming hybrid show. So it looks like AEW will be catching up to WWE and
Good.
and going into that streaming service and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see, ladies and gentlemen, which streaming service they're going to go into. And speaking of streaming service, ladies and gentlemen, if you all didn't hear the news, today the WWE announced that the WWE Network is folding. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE Network is folding. It's
Oh,
leaving Peacock, ladies and gentlemen. It's leaving the Peacock Network. And now they're going to be going on Netflix. All of their archive wrestling content and everything. Now you could see that on Netflix. So I thought that was interesting. While speaking to the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reports that the WWE network is still in operation in various international regional markets, such as Europe, but it will be discontinued at the end of the year when the WWE's new deal with Netflix goes into effect. Meltzer suggests that the fate of WWE's archival content create currently on the network is uncertain. However, he believes that the transition from Netflix will be that partnership for WWE, which means that they will take those archives and they will just switch it over to Netflix so that you won't lose anything. You just have to go on Netflix and watch if you want to. Um, for most of the world, they're going to take over the WWE network. WWE network in itself that existed outside of the United States will be folding at the end of the year, and Netflix will pick up the content. So Netflix will jump in, and they told WWE fold the network, the WWE network, and then we'll take your content over. Um, that's a good thing. So a lot of people have been asking, will they pick up all of the content, all of the archives? I don't know, but one thing is the source says that the archival content of the old territories and old stuff that was on WWE Network I guess, will remain on Netflix. I mean, yeah, will be on Netflix. And that will move Netflix outside of the United States in January. Okay, and the Peacock deal, when the Peacock deal is up, if Netflix were to get that, they'll be interested in seeing how much more that they would pay. Obviously, $2 million deal per year right now. So that's the next deal that's coming up. So apparently, the WWE is going to renegotiate with Netflix, and they're going to take all of their content once their Peacock deal is over, and then put that on Netflix.
It
So
makes sense to have everything in one place, especially if Raw is going to be on Netflix. It makes sense to just take everything that's on Peacock right now and switch it on over to
right, and
Netflix.
again, like I said before, and I'll say it again, ladies and gentlemen. This is I don't have any problem with it.
No.
I don't have any issues with it. Like Sarah brilliantly says, you have one house, one streaming service, one house. You pay for one streaming service. You get the entire WWE package on Netflix once all of that has been tied into each other, and the pay-per-views. So now you Peacock will. I mean, the WWE will be debuting. Let's say, for example, you have WrestleMania debut on Netflix for the first time. You've never seen any sports content on Netflix before. You know the ratings will go up to the roof at that point,
Oh yeah.
because this is the first time that Netflix has ever broadcast anything sports related.
Mhm.
So, I mean, people would be raving over that. And then they would get more members to sign up.
They're going to be able to reach a much wider audience now.
Exactly.
Much wider audience.
Um, as announced, WWE Raw has found a new home for its broadcasting in Netflix, which will begin in January of 2025. This comes after the current deal with the present home USA Network comes to an end in October. However, there's one thing to be noticed, and according to Variety, the network where Monday Night Raw will air at the same time is yet to be determined. So what's going to happen is, ladies and gentlemen, here's the problem. Here's the problem that the WWE has. Um, Raw needs a home after, I believe, after October. Yeah. So they're going to need a new home because the Netflix deal doesn't take effect until the January of 2025. So they're going to be without a home for 3 months. So now the WWE is in a conundrum here. Um, what do we do while we wait for the Netflix deal to kick in?
You gotta
And
you gotta pay for the cock. It seems to be the theme for the day. I don't know.
That's what DJ Storm says.
And now I'm
That's what he
still
tells
sitting
it.
here. I'm
and
contemplating.
then he would say, "Get your mind out of the gutter, people." Oh.
Right, right.
My mind's
Peacock.
always in the gutter. I live there.
So, okay, um, Meltzer says, and then Dave Meltzer chimes in, and he suggests that the fate of the WWE archival content currently on the network is uncertain. However, he believes that it should all transition over to Netflix and its
Oh,
partnerships with when WWE commences the deal. So if you didn't hear the news, ladies and gentlemen, the WWE network here in the United States will fold by the end of the year. They're going to close the network. and but apparently, I think that is going to go to Netflix. Um, so what do you guys think about this? What do you? I'm going to go to Sarah first. Sarah, where do you think Raw should go for 3 months while they wait for the Netflix deal to kick in?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I would think if Netflix, I just don't understand why can't it just stay on USA until the Netflix deal kicks in?
Well, the USA just said USA told WWE they're not extending the deal.
Well, then they're gonna have to put it on Peacock. Then they might not
I
have
would.
another choice.
You might not have a choice. That is correct, sir.
Peacock is NBC though, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But at least they'll be in the home for 3 months while they wait for the other deal to click
yeah.
in, which will begin after December the 31st at midnight. Um,
Either that or maybe they can. I can't imagine why they didn't think of this.
I just want to know why it seems like a lot of trouble. Like it was all on the WWE network. Why did they get rid of that? I don't understand why, because Vince's greed saw, okay, he can sell the network in America out to a Peacock or a Netflix, and then everybody else globally still uses the WWE network. Like, but now that Netflix is going to own the content, the network is going to go away, as you were saying. So I just feel like they just a lot of trouble was, and Dave Meltzer, my God, it's no different than the Star Wars movies or the Marvel movies switching from Netflix to Amazon. Like Netflix just got a bunch of the DC comic movies that were previously exclusive to Amazon. So it's no different. They're just going to take the content from one and just move it over to the other.
right. He doesn't believe that the WWE is going to do that. He believes that they will drop the entire archival package and not put it on Netflix or anywhere else. That
Really?
that's what he believes.
So like you
Um,
won't be able to watch any old pay-per-views or anything like that?
no, according to what he's saying that they're going to drop the entire package and be done away with it.
Well,
And
not
just
that's a huge selling point that people are going to want to have to actually purchase the content off
right.
of Netflix. If you don't have the archived content, that's a huge L. Where's that content going to go?
But that's what I mean. I mean, I don't believe anything he says anyway, because
Fact.
No.
I don't believe anything he says because first of all, that's a big selling point of the package. That's the whole purpose of the package.
Exactly.
That's how you draw the audience into the streaming service, and that's how you introduce them to the WWE. Because I'll tell you this much: if you are a new viewer, let's say you are a new viewer, and you turn on the TV, how are you going to know who Macho Man is, or how are you going to know who Hulk Hogan was? How are you going to know what the Royal Rumble is, or what a SummerSlam is? You have to go back and look at all of that content to introduce yourself to the product, because people don't have time to sit there and give you the history of these things. Um,
Not
like
only
the
that, but what about the OGs like us and
right.
myself who don't really fuck with today's product and we want to watch what we consider to be, the golden years of our youth, and want to relive them
Right,
moments that we
exactly,
fell in love with. And if
exactly.
we can't do that, then why the fuck am I paying for this thing?
Right, exactly. No, no, you're absolutely right, Hooligrim, and I agree with your assessment. Well, go ahead, sir. I'm
And I
sorry.
was gonna say too, I don't if they're not getting all the archives, there is no way Netflix is gonna pay WWE $1 billion a year. What, just for Raw? That's stupid.
Right, and
There has to be, you know
then
what I
I
mean?
don't
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that at all, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Once the Peacock deal is done and the extension is done, you're still gonna have to take all that pay-per-view content, that live pay-per-view content, and switch it to Netflix. Netflix will have to deal with it. They will have to deal with it because there is no there. You can't split that up. You got to put everything in one package.
Uh,
So, so, I
could I speak
mean,
to Sarah's point real quick, Earl, if you
yeah,
don't mind?
you go ahead. Rulu.
I was just gonna tell her, like, at least from what I read about that deal, I'm pretty sure um that 500 million per year for the next 10 years or whatever it is, Sarah, is literally specifically just to show Raw in the United States, nothing else.
Right.
That's outrageous.
Oh, but I'm sorry, the United States, Canada, the UK, and Latin America, which basically they mean like Mexico and Central America.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so just for that region, 500 million just to show Raw. They're not. Eventually, I think they said that SmackDown, NXT, and the pay-per-views are going to be on Netflix, but not initially. I think that doesn't happen until 2026, if I remember correctly.
Well, the thing is here's how it's gonna work. Here's how it's gonna work. Um, in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have Raw to Netflix. We have SmackDown to USA because they just signed the deal, and NXT will go to the CW network.
Oh, I
So
forgot
that
about SmackDown signing it on with
yeah,
USA.
yes. So
I forgot about that.
SmackDown um will now get the USA, and that will begin in October.
Of this year.
This
Yes.
year, because
And
the Fox deal is done.
USA is a partner, or is a subsidiary of NBC.
Right,
So that leads me to believe if SmackDown's going to be on USA, then that 3 month period you guys were just talking about, I'm sure this stuff will be on Peacock. It'll have, like Sarah was saying, it'll have to be. There's what else? Where else are they going to put
right.
it?
Because there is no other outlet for them to do it in.
Right.
Because they just need to rent a space for 3 months, and that's it. And that is it. And no matter how much they pay for it or whatever, but like Sarah said, it will have to be on Peacock. I don't mind. I don't mind because I
Do you think
have the
the the Vince news and everything will affect any of this?
um. Like I said, all of the stuff that was happening here, the good stuff that was happening here, kind of put a dent in the armor of it. Just put a slight dent in it. But I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of heads going to roll with this Vince story.
I think a lot of people.
I
I think
do.
there's going to be more than just Vince going.
There's going to be a
Huh.
ton load
Good.
of
Yeah.
people
Get them
because
all out.
yep, because if they knew about this and they said nothing, you're gone.
What
Yep.
You're
does
gone.
what
You're
does
gone.
Vince's buddy Donald Trump say? Drain the swamp.
I
Yep.
was just going to say those very same words.
Yeah.
Drain the
Yeah.
swamp. Get
Yep.
rid of everybody that had
Yeah.
any knowledge.
If
Turn a blind
I
eye.
yep. Because they're doing a probe, ladies and gentlemen, and
I'd like to speak with
uh,
Shane McMahon and find out what he knows. I bet you that guy knows a lot.
well, I mean, I just like I said before, I said again, ladies
And
and
I
gentlemen,
wonder what's surrounding him getting fired from WWE as well. Did he maybe try to stand up to Vince and Vince said, screw you and fired him? Like,
well, there's a
That's a
lot of
good
people.
question, actually.
That's a great question. We don't know,
it's
but I
just,
know
yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people that stood up to Vince, and they're no longer employed.
Yep.
Um, they are no longer employed, especially if they stood up for themselves. If they didn't like the behavior that he was exhibiting behind the scenes. Um, I'm telling you something. There's going to. You ever heard of that thing, ladies and gentlemen, where you take a pebble and you throw it in the ocean and there's a ripple effect, ladies and gentlemen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of ripples coming out of this story. I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely one of the worst things we could ever witness, read, relive, and replay.
And I think because we're fans of wrestling, and it's like if you hear about something that happens on the news with the CEO of just
Excuse
a
me.
random business or company, or you hear about it in Hollywood, I feel like I turn on the news all the time, or get on social media all the time, and see some star athlete is in trouble for sexual assault or domestic violence, or something of that nature. So we become kind of conditioned to the stories along certain avenues. But as wrestling fans, when it comes into our house, it hits a little bit different. At least for me, it does. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
Um, and the guy that is pretty much responsible for there being pro wrestling globally, the scale that it
Mhm.
is today, is now also front and center for, haha, in my private life, guess who I really was? That's a huge thing.
Right?
It's
That's a
it's called
huge, huge thing.
it's called smoke and mirrors. It's called
Uh,
smoke and mirrors.
I'm of
That's
the conspiracy theorist type. I'm very interested in stuff like that. Um, However, anybody else's opinions on that are is neither here nor there. But I've been saying for about the last 23, 24 years, when I started looking into conspiracy theories, and I first heard the term Illuminati, and I wanted to know what that meant. Um, I started noticing similarities up the wazoo in WWE when it comes to Illuminati numerology, symbology, stuff like that. And as I've been watching as an adult over the last 24 years, I would make jokes to my friends and my dad like, I'm not surprised if Vince is part of the Illuminati. I called Trump running for president 2 years before it happened, just based on the storyline angle he had with Vince. I remember the exact conversation with my father about that. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's we just wrestling needs to be cleaned out, especially the WWE. It really does. Like
yeah.
Vince, he needs to go, and I think that this
Yeah.
is I think this is the beginning of us seeing the end of that guy's stranglehold on the business for the last 40 plus years.
Yeah. This isn't good. This isn't good. And you know something? This people don't seem to understand. And I'm gonna just make this last point. Um, People don't seem to understand that this whole situation hurts the morale. It hurts the morale backstage. When you gotta sit here and read all of this stuff on the internet, it really brings the morale down in the backstage area.
To your
Nobody wants.
point, you're
Huh?
exactly right. And as you're saying that, a thought just went in my head. I just
Okay.
thought about Sasha Banks, Mercedes
Yes.
Monet, and Trinity, and the
Yeah.
reasons why they left. Now,
Yeah.
did Johnny Laurinaitis try to pull some sexual shit on them in the back office, and that's why they threw the titles at him and said, fuck you?
You never know.
Hang on, guys. I'll be back in just a second.
Okay,
Okay,
man.
okay, Sarah. Um, I'm very curious about a lot of different instances and stories that now are coming back to my mind about what really, I mean, to be a
Yeah.
fly on the wall in certain rooms right now would be pretty amazing. But
This is horrific. It's the only word I can use. This is horrific. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime.
why is it always a guy in a position of prominence and power that does something like this?
Because they know they can get away with it. Hologram. Or they think they know they can get away with it.
How do these mentally deranged, very disturbed individuals get to those positions instead of not in an institution in a straitjacket in a round padded room on tranquilizers for 20 hours out of the day is beyond me.
I just, again, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, and like I said before, to say the disclaimer, the languages that were used in this article and the way I read it, ladies and gentlemen, does not reflect me, my guests, nor anyone here at the Wrestling Experience.
I think you
read
did a
the
great job. I don't think you said anything too graphic.
right.
I think
Thank you,
people can
Lord.
get their. I think people use their imaginations, got the gist of what you were reading. I think you did a great job of actually not going into all the gruesome detail that was in that article. That it's just crazy.
And thank you again, Hooligrim. I greatly appreciate it.
Kenneth Clark in the chat.
Kenneth Clark, how are you?
Where you been, bro? We've been
We're
talking
good.
about the Vince McMahon news for like the last hour.
Yeah. And we discuss other things too, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wrestling news for tonight. That's the wrestling news. That's gonna put a bow on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna move on. AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite last night.
Are we
took
talking about
place.
last night's Dynamite, Earl?
Yes, we are.
Okay, just clarify.
We are talking about AEW Dynamite last night. Good show. Solid show. As we get into, and welcome back, Sarah. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Earl Cole.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, my friend. With a straight face now.
Yes.
You just told the YouTube universe that Dynamite was a good show.
Well, it was a solid show. We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
We're gonna get into it.
Moving.
They kept it moving in rapido fashion, ladies and gentlemen, with the matches.
Where were they last night? Savannah, Georgia?
Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
Yes, the audience was
never
dead.
go there for a wrestling show ever again. AEW and WWE, please.
Yeah, they were
never go there again.
They were. The hospitality was great, but ladies and gentlemen, the audience was not hospitable to wrestling. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with wrestling organizations, and I don't know why they do this. Why do you go to markets where people are not familiarized with wrestling, or they never heard of anything of that nature? Why do you go to these wrestling markets? Why can't you stick to the Tennessee market and the Richmond markets and the Carolina markets and the California markets?
Well, what about Atlanta?
How about Atlanta and the Floridian markets,
Georgia, where nobody gives a single flying
crap
about.
And they said that the crowd was the worst attended in AEW history.
It sounded like when I used to yell at my son for running off inside Costco when he was a little kid. And I'd be like, come back. And that's exactly what it sounded like in that building last night. I'm like, are we in an abandoned barn somewhere? Like, what are we doing here?
Morgue.
I mean, it was just the crowd was just I don't know.
Not one person clapped in the front row. Not one person in the front row clapped for Adam Copeland and Minoru Suzuki last night after the match was over. And there were actual dudes texting on their phone when Copeland was talking after his match.
Yeah, well, you didn't see the Red Velvet match.
No, I did not.
Well, we're going to discuss that. So let me go around, and then I'm going to go to Sarah first. Sarah, what did you make of last night's AEW Dynamite?
Some of the matches are good. I like that they kept it moving. Like you said, it went, things were going off in rapid fashion. The crowd was awful. Um, I was very confused by the whole Undisputed Kingdom thing, because it's almost like, okay, we're here, we're the Undisputed Kingdom, and it's like they pumped the brakes on that. That storyline hasn't really advanced a whole lot, so I was very disappointed in that. Um, I mean, I thought it was okay, but I think it could have been a whole heck of a lot better.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. And Hooligan, what did you think of last night's Dynamite?
Well, thankfully, I didn't see the entire show, so I can't speak on most of it. But what I did see, I was very. I'm trying to think of the words.
Hmm.
I'm very tired of AEW right now. They are whatever direction, they're directionless, it seems like, and I don't the product, the massive drop in attendance, um the lack of story building. I know that there are some storylines that they are building nicely towards, but I'm talking overall as a product, what they're putting out on TV, the way it's coming across to me as a viewer is I'd rather sleep. And initially, I'm waiting for Adam Copeland versus Minoru Suzuki, and I'm excited about this match. And then 30 seconds in, I realized that no one's making a single peep. There's about 10 people in that audience that probably gave a fuck about that match. I felt awful for those two guys. I feel somebody of Adam Copeland's caliber deserves better.
Excuse me.
The crowd was. It's not very often that a crowd really gets on my nerve to the point where I'm getting upset. If it's a lame crowd, usually I'll just turn the channel or I'll get up or something. But I was upset at this crowd because I felt like they were being blatantly disrespectful, and maybe they just don't understand pro wrestling. I don't know, but you could tell that building was empty and that it was blacked out everywhere so that you couldn't see the entire upper deck with not a single person in it. It was very reminiscent of older Impact tapings in terms of look and sound to me. I thought if this keeps up, AEW is not going to be a thing much longer. That was my initial thought.
Um, I'm I'm gonna have to agree with the assessment. The audience was there was no participation in the audience whatsoever.
Whack.
Yeah, that's the word we use around here, ladies and gentlemen, around these parts, is the word whack. Ladies and gentlemen,
Not wrong.
crowd was no, the crowd was whack. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd was whack. And like Hooligrim said, and I agree with his assessment, you have Honora Suzuki and Adam Copeland taking on each other for the first time ever, and you think you would be a little bit enthused or enthralled with what you're being produced in the ring, but that is not what we got.
At the
No.
very least, they'd be paying attention.
Right.
Like,
I
I don't
felt
know, watching.
Well, it's just like I was doing the Red Velvet match. We were in the middle of the Red Velvet match, and I looked up there, and I there was a woman sitting next to these three guys, and she's writing down her must be her phone number or email. They were not interested in this match at all. They were just in there just swapping numbers. I was like, this ain't no dating service. This is a wrestling show. Why did you come here? Why did you come here if that's all you wanted to do?
yeah, facts.
Um This is not speed dating. Like, what is this? What are you doing? Um, I just can't. I
This
just,
isn't, yeah,
I don't know. I mean, all right. Let's talk
he's
about this for a
crazy.
second. Let's talk about the opening segment. Samoa Joe kicked the show off. Sarah, what did you think of this? What did you think of the promo?
I thought it was okay. I just was kind of confused why they were having Hook come out and just say, "You won, I lost." Like, I'll see you later. Or I'll see you again. It's kind of like, okay. So I mean, I don't know. It almost to me, it felt like they put, they did that promo just to get Hook on the show for, I don't know, a minute and a half, maybe. So, because they know that his promos, those video packages that he's been doing, those video packages have been really good. I really like
Right.
the videos that he's been doing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a little kind of strange. It was weird. Um, so
Yeah, I'm going to agree with your assessment. Hooligrim, what did you make of the opening segment?
I did not see most of the show, Earl.
Okay.
I saw the Hook thing, the Hook promo,
Okay.
and I don't. I have a problem with AEW's booking specifically of three people, one being Orange Cassidy, one being Hook, and the third and the most important, in my opinion, the booking of Swerve Strickland.
Right.
I feel like Tony Khan is a little bit behind the fan base in terms of realizing when a talent is over with the crowd. And by the
Right.
time he catches on, what he seems to do is start throwing that wrestler on every show with everybody he can get him in the ring with.
Right.
He did it with Moxley in the beginning.
Hmm.
Um, MJF got ran into the ground very
Hmm.
quickly in the course of about a year or two. And MJF is young. There's injuries abound left and right. I think he's allowing the wrestlers to work a style that is not sustainable long term for their bodies. Um, but those three talents I mentioned, once he's realized that they're over, he's just now, with no rhyme or reason, just throwing them at other wrestlers. And it's like,
Hmm.
Hook was special for one because of everybody's affinity for Taz. Okay.
Right.
He didn't get over because we all just saw, oh, who's this good looking, handsome young dude with the Justin Bieber haircut that doesn't talk? Like, if I just saw him and I didn't know he was Taz's son, and I saw him, I turned on my TV and there's Hook coming to the ring. I'm thinking, what is this little featherweight dude about to get thrown into the ocean? Like, he doesn't look like a pro wrestler. So to any wrestling fan, if you just see Hook, you're going to be like, well, what's he about? No, he's Taz's son. Okay, now I'm going to sit and watch, right? So that got me in the door. Then his persona and the fact that he just kind of had the mean mug and didn't talk. Everybody liked that because nobody else is doing that.
Right.
Don't have him come out and now start talking. He hasn't
Well,
developed his own voice yet. And what made
right.
him special was the fact that he didn't talk. Please stop with the Hook promos. Please stop putting Orange Cassidy in every random match just because you like Orange Cassidy. He's also now doing the same thing with Swerve.
Well, the thing is to counteract what you're saying here is that with Orange Cassidy, you have to make him relevant on television because he is the international champion, and you have to make that belt prominent on television. You can't do like Roman Reigns, but we're not gonna go there. Um, So so yeah, you have to make the now if he wasn't didn't have a title, then I would agree with your assessment. But unfortunately, in this instance, I can't agree with the assessment. I respectfully understand where you're coming from. But in this instance, he has to be prominent on television because he is a champion. And a champion is supposed to be on television because you want to make the title relevant. If you would
But
have taken him, hold on one second. Hold on one
okay,
second.
okay.
Hold on one second. If you take him off TV, the title it will stain the title. And then if you put him on the cutting room floor, that's not a good look either because he's a champion. Now, if he wasn't a champion, yeah, I would say maybe modify his duties a little bit. But he is a champion, so
Um, a couple things. One, I actually like that you. I think that's the first time to my knowledge, that you've disagreed with something I've said, which is refreshing to me because sometimes I start to wonder if someone's just being polite, you know what I mean, and doesn't want confrontation. And not that this is going to get confrontational or anything like that. Just I like the difference of opinion. I like the aspect of debating. So I appreciate that you. I appreciate your thought on that and that it's different from mine. Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, the thing is with my show is that I try to have healthy debates with everyone. Whether we agree or disagree or we're not on the same planet or but I respect everyone's opinion. That's what sets me apart from everyone else. I respect people's opinions. I listen to them. I
Okay.
understand them, and I understand where you're coming from. If I don't agree with it, I will say I respectfully disagree with what you're trying to put down. But as I said before, I'll say it again: the champion has to be relevant here. And that's the most prominent thing that you want to do because you want to have a legacy for the title.
And I
You want
understand
to
that.
have,
But
and
do
you
you
want
think
to
that
have that.
the champion needs to be on every weekly show
Well,
along with the
yes. I
PLEs?
mean, yes, Hooligrim, they have to because,
Okay.
like I said before, and I'll say it again: if you don't have the title, if you don't have the person that holding the title off TV, how is the people going to rally around the person holding the title? They can't do that. They
Right.
can't invest in the person holding the title because that stains the title. That
Right.
stains the legacy. That stains the credibility of the title.
I
And
feel
that is something you have to do. That is why MJF is on television all the time when he
right.
was a champion. That's
Right.
why, yes, that's why Hook is on television because he's a champion. Anybody that's a champion, anybody that's holding a belt, they need to be on television because they need to be relevant. You
But I'm talking
can't.
about also before they got the titles, Earl. Like my point was when Tony Khan realizes that they're over with the audience, like even
Mhm.
like Orange Cassidy like was put in matches where it didn't even remotely seem believable that he could win, and then he won, got the title, lost it real quick, got it back, and he's just plowing through everybody almost like he's a Roman Reigns. He's being booked almost like Roman Reigns. Only
Mhm.
he's wrestling like to your point. At least he's wrestling every week, whereas Roman Reigns is gone for weeks at a time. Um, I sometimes think absence makes the heart grow fonder in terms of the person being a champion. I don't want to see a champion week in and week out all the time if it's going to be repetitive shit like WWE does a lot of the time with repeat matches that we've seen throughout the month. Um,
Yeah,
so
but but,
I guess
but
that's
I
more along what I was getting
no
at.
no no I no I understand. I get it. I understand. I get it. But here's the thing. First of all, what sets Tony Khan apart with Hook with Orange Cassidy? Orange Cassidy's not in the same matches every week. Orange Cassidy's not in the same matches every week. They dial him out with different people. Even from New Japan, they dial him out with somebody. So he's not on television there with the same person every 20 seconds
True.
of the day. That is one thing. Another thing too is that there is kinks in Orange Cassidy's armor. He does lose titles. He does lose titles. He doesn't do it like Roman Reigns with the shenanigans and the 20 more 7 and the lazy booking and the same whack finish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Very
can't
true.
compare apples and oranges. You really can't because um yes, the booking may not be the greatest thing you've ever seen on the planet, but at least it's something fresh and something innovative and something that can grow the title out and make it irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. You have to look at the overall picture
Sure.
here, and what the audience is craving and what the audience wants, and they want a relevant champion because over in the island of WWE, we don't have too many credible champions. We don't. Everybody keeps talking about Roman Reigns this, Roman Reigns that, Roman Reigns this.
Right.
Roman Reigns is supposed to keep his title to mid-September because they want him to break Hulk Hogan's record. That's whack booking. So that every time he comes on television, this is the same finish. It's just like the Royal Rumble. We all know Roman Reigns is going to retain the title. We all know that because that's what the WWE wants. That's what they want. They want that whack finish. They want that whack booking.
Hmm.
So
No, I feel what you're
yeah,
saying. I don't even really disagree with anything that you said, and
yeah, no,
I get your point totally.
I mean, it's just that you have to look at the overall picture,
I
and
just feel
I'm
like
not saying,
also
and
the
I'm not.
style that he lets Cassidy and like MJF wrestle.
Well, he has to, because there is no alternative. If you don't make the person, I mean, okay, listen. MJF does not wrestle all the time on AEW television. Sometimes they give him segments.
True,
Sometimes they give him backstage statements.
true.
Sometimes Orange Cassidy gets backstage statements. He's not on TV all the time. Um, they give him the backstage, but at least he's relevant and he's prominent because he's a champion, and that championship has to be credible at that point. And
True.
again,
I agree with you.
that has to be the most overall. And I'm not saying you don't look at the overall picture. I'm not saying that.
I
But
know.
there are some fans that don't look at the overall. And I've said this to Sarah. Some fans don't look at the overall picture. You don't
Right,
look at the overall picture. You nitpick at everything, but
right,
you don't look at the nuance of what it
right.
is, what it's calling for. You've got to go through the nuances
Yeah.
of everything that goes on, and then you surmise after that. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand totally, but I
I stand
respectfully,
corrected, actually. You actually changed my viewpoint initially.
you know,
So
because I'm telling you that
when it
is
comes to Cassidy and
when
MJF,
it
I
comes
get
to,
what you're
yes,
saying.
yes, you have to look at the overall picture. You
But
have
just
to.
please don't don't change what made Hook special. Don't let he's not ready
No,
for promos or anything like
Oh, I
that.
no.
agree. I
Let
agree. Or
keep
if you're
Mm,
him
going to
off
have
of
him
the
do
mic.
promos, train him on how to do promos better.
I liked when he
right.
just had the mean mug on his face, walked to the ring, handled his business, and then walked out. It was like
Yeah.
it was like he was that old Stone Cold promo, arrive, raise hell, leave. That was his gimmick. He actually was like living that catchphrase as his character in wrestling, and I appreciated that.
Sean C.
Sean C.
Thank you, Sean C. Thank you. Thank you, Sean C. I greatly appreciate it. But here's the thing. Here's another point I want to make. Yeah, again, like I said, I agree. I mean, you have to have them. You have to have them both. But I'll tell you this much: that segment with Hook, it looked like to me he looked very uncomfortable doing it.
Hmm.
You can tell when somebody, you see, when you have a character, ladies and gentlemen, and you have them one way, and then you bring them into the dressing room and you tell them to go the other way. It's kind of like the awkwardness. It meets the unexpectedness, and then when it comes on camera, it don't look good.
It
It don't look
manifests
right.
itself on camera,
It
is what I
mattered
was
right,
gonna
right. It
say.
mattered right,
Yeah.
exactly. It oozes out on camera, and it don't look good. If you look at the overall package, if you look back at it, so it looked very uncomfortable for him to do that kind of promo. But on an entertainment level, Sarah, what do you give this segment?
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't very entertaining. The two.
Hooligan, what do
Oh
you
my
think?
God.
What on an entertainment level, what do you give this segment?
It's hard for me because I'm a huge Taz fan. So automatically, I don't care how good Hook ends up being. I'm gonna be a fan of his just because of what his dad and the role his dad played in me being a fan of wrestling and watching over the years played in my life. So I don't want to shit all over the kid. And to me, he's still a baby in the business. I know he's been around AEW since day one, but he's still green as grass. You can just see it all over him. He's improved since the first time I ever saw him on TV. So it's hard for me to rate it. I know he's trying, and since they don't have an NXT type of system, I guess, in AEW, it's like maybe the mentality behind the scenes was he's not very good, but how's he going to get good unless he's practicing? Or at some point you got to get thrown in with the sharks, and you either swim or get eaten. So
Right.
maybe they just said you got to try at some point. So I give him credit for trying. I'll give him a 5 out of 10, I guess.
Okay. And I'm going to go down the dial, ladies and gentlemen, and give this segment a 1.0. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the segment gets a 1 point. This segment gets a 1.0. The awkwardness, the way he grabbed Samoa
Sorry,
Joe by
Hook.
the way you grabbed him and whispered in his ear, that just it looked weird. It looked awkward. Not a good thing to expel on television.
I was trying to be nice, damn it. Now it looks like I gave him I overrated it. I gave him an F and I overrated him.
Oh, go Hooligrim. Yeah, I love when you come on the show. I just really do. Hangman Adam Page took on Penta Alcedo Nieto. The match was fine. The match was okay for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Loved the match so much. I really did. Yeah, I love me some Penta. If you're not a fan of Penta Alcedo Nieto, why are you a wrestling fan? Why are you a wrestling fan? Explain that to me.
I don't think it's possible to be a wrestling fan and not be a fan of that guy.
You have to love some Penta.
Penta's awesome.
You have to love some Penta. Again, like I said, the match was fine. The match was okay. Hooligrim, what did you think of the match?
I'm a little bit harder on my Penta matches because, I go back to the Lucha Underground days with that guy. So,
yes.
The problem I have is the guy he wrestled. I don't enjoy this person on any level. I don't enjoy this person on any level in the ring, on the microphone, behind the scenes. So if you see me on Twitter ever talking about Penta's opponent, it's not ever good. It's just not ever good.
I'm laughing because I know it's true.
I have been taken to task many times on Twitter regarding my viewpoints on the Cupcake Cowboy, as I like to refer to him, with his cute little pink T-shirt. That's the whole Dirk Diggler look they got him going now is.
Oh my God!
Good job, AEW.
So you won't be sending him a birthday card anytime soon.
Definitely not.
Okay, all right. Well, all right.
It's not on Hooligrim's Christmas list.
No.
That way.
So what did you?
He looks like he should be on a certain kind of list.
I'm not
You're
going
going
there.
on the list. Jericho's
The
not
list of
on the
irrelevancy.
So what did you think? Did you care for it? Did you?
It's really, I can't believe I would say that about a Penta match, but it's the other guy. When you just dislike something, it doesn't really matter what's involved in it. That the part that you dislike tends to overshadow what normally I love everything about Penta. He's literally one of my favorite things about AEW. But I'm not going to shit on the match because Penta's involved, but I just don't care for anything the other guy does. I just can't get on board with it.
Sarah, what did you think of the match?
Well, I agree with your. I'll use your words. I agree with your assessment. It was okay. It was good for what it was. I thought the match was good because of Penta. I really enjoy watching him.
Shocker
I
there.
think, right. I enjoy watching him. I think no matter who he's in a match with, he makes that other person look better than what they would usually look like. So I thought the match was all right.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. The match, like I said, the match was fine. The match was all right. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Now I know that some people like Mitch and everyone who hates Orange Cassidy, and Mr. Hooligrim who doesn't like.
Oh no!
Oh, we lost Earl.
How'd you guys switch spots?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We always doing that. I have no idea, and I don't push anything, ladies and gentlemen.
Real quick, Sean C in the chat. I don't know. Could you bring up his comment on the screen?
Which one?
The one that says both sides had valid points. Thank you for that nice comment, Sean.
Sean C.
He was talking about our debate about MJF and Orange Cassidy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that debate, Sean. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Not yelling or screaming or anything.
I was gonna say, there are some wrestling fans can be reasonable people and understand that. Hey, what I'm watching makes me feel a certain type of way. You're not gonna get the same type of feeling everybody watching the same thing. So if you can understand that, you should be able to talk about what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, and the other person that you're talking to should not be in a fit of rage, screaming, yelling at you with their eyeballs coming out of their sockets, like as to why everything you're saying is wrong. It's just preposterous to me how sometimes wrestling fans get so maniacal about it.
Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just it's different. That's all.
I remember once I had somebody on this wrestling. I won't tell the person's name.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not going.
Spill the tea, Earl. Spill the tea.
No, I'm not gonna dignify this person with a response. Anyway, they were on the wrestling experience, and we were going back and forth with a wrestler.
I'm going through the archives after this.
And no. What I had to do is I had to take the show down. Unfortunately, because it was too volatile. And I look back at all of my videos, ladies and gentlemen, all my content, and you could do it too, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see yourself on the wrestling experience, all you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go to my Twitter page on X, or ladies and gentlemen, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch yourself back on the wrestling experience. Hooligrim's been on my show many times over, ladies and gentlemen. He's an absolute fabulous guest. I love inviting him when necessary. He always brings it. I always have a good time with Hooligrim. Me and Sarah always enjoy his company when he's here at the wrestling experience. But getting back to the match itself, I had no issues with it whatsoever. I had zero issues with it. So Sarah, on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
like I said, it wasn't great. It wasn't like totally sucky, so I give it a 5, like in the middle of the road.
All right. And Hooligrim, what entertainment level do you give this match?
I like how Sarah put her thoughts into words. She did it better than I did. She pretty much spoke what I was trying to elaborate on. So with that being said, I can't even believe I'm giving this guy a 5. Like,
It's just
Because
but
of
okay.
Penta.
It's,
to
it's,
her
okay.
point,
It's okay,
Penta's
Hooligrim.
Penta's that
It's,
good, and
it's okay, Hooligrim.
I can't
You want a
can't
hug,
just
Hooligrim? Do you want a virtual hug? Here, Hooligrim.
No,
It's
what I'd
okay.
like is
It's
I'd
okay.
like AEW to just stop
It's a heart.
making random wrestling matches. Just
Well,
random,
well,
for no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason.
yeah.
It's getting
I
on my
know.
nerves.
I know. I know. You want the matches to make sense, and I understand that. And not every match that they book on a show will
Does
make
any
sense.
Does anyone remember NXT from like 2015 to 2017, 18? Not every match they did had a storyline for weeks and
No, it
weeks leading
didn't.
up to the
No, it
pay-per-view.
don't.
But I never
No.
one time during that show felt like I was just getting these randomly booked, hey, here's a match for shits and giggles. And I don't know what it is about AEW, but there's something missing with AEW that I don't know if I can even quantify it. There's just something is not there.
Was it like a je ne sais quoi?
Yeah, sure. If you're talking about nuances and stuff, there's something missing, maybe a few little things missing, because I just feel like it's either a match with a storyline, and then the filler is just random stuff in between.
Right.
I get what
Well,
you're saying.
yeah. So Hooligrim gives it a 5. Sarah gave it a 5. I'm gonna go up the dial. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go up the dial. I'm gonna be nice tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This match, ladies, gets a 6. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna give it a 6. We're gonna give it a 6. It was okay for what it was. It's okay for what it was. Like I said, it served a purpose. So Wardlow took on Trent Beretta. The match was fine. The match was all right. For what it was. It served a purpose. Undisputed Kingdom come out with Michael Cole. You hear me?
I didn't know he was on AEW now. He's really pulling double duty now that
Whoops!
Kevin Patrick is
Whoops!
on.
Whoops, ladies and gentlemen. Whoopsie. No. Adam Cole, ladies and gentlemen, was on the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Cole, ladies and gentlemen, undisputed. So anyway, Sarah, what did you think of the match?
One thing I really did like is the fact they didn't just book another squash match for Wardlow.
Right,
Booking squash matches for him, it's not going to help him get over. I'm sorry.
right.
I understand they want to make him look like he's this big, scary heel and he's very
Like a Braun
dominating and
Strowman.
all of that. Yes. But like they want him to look like a monster. And
Right.
I get that, but I don't think week in and week out doing squash matches is the way to go. I mean, it also makes sense that he's with the Undisputed Kingdom. However, like I've said before, and I'll continue to say it, if anybody thinks that Wardlow is going to just hand over this title to Adam Cole, they're out of their damn minds. He's not just going to hand the title over to Adam Cole.
He's
Not
gonna
going to
smash
happen.
upside his face.
Exactly. He's not. No, he's not going to do that.
He's not going to pull the old Kevin Nash and lay down for Hogan with the finger poke.
Yeah, the finger poke of doom. Just launch himself down on the ground.
I wouldn't put it past Tony Khan to copy that. to be honest with you.
Oh God, I hope not. I really hope not.
They
That's
could. I think you're probably more right that
so tacky.
Wardlow doesn't seem like the type that's gonna just lay down for itty bitty Adam, as I like to call him.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
he's not. He's not just
Um.
hand that title to him. So I like the
Right.
fact that it wasn't just a squash match
Yeah.
because you've got Wardlow who's still relatively newer, and you've got him with a veteran like Trent Beretta. I think that it was an okay match. I was just happy it wasn't that it went for more than 30 seconds or a minute, and they didn't have Wardlow doing umpteen power bombs.
Um. Hooligrim, what did you think of the match?
I actually didn't see this match, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, Sarah, it's up to you and I.
Okay.
On an entertainment level, Sarah, what do you give this match?
Like I said, I'll give it because it wasn't a total squash match. I'm going to give this one a 6. I'm going to go up, give it
Okay.
a 6.
I'm going to agree with your assessment, and I'm going to go up that level. I think a 6 fits well for what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump up and down and say I want to see this again. No, no. It was fine for what it was. It was fine. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Great chemistry, great nuance in the ring. Now, Hooligan, let me ask you a question. Did you watch the Tony Storm face to face?
No.
Nope. All right, so it's up to me and Sarah then.
The
Sarah,
cheese slides off her cracker.
well, it don't slide down easy unless it's cheesy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hologram's face right now is the best.
Stick with me and I teach you a lot of anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway.
That was great.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. The segment was all right. You had half black and white on the screen and then you had the other half in color.
That's cool. I like that they're
Yeah.
doing that with Tony Storm always staying in black and white. I think that's
I know.
pretty
That's
legit.
what
Yeah,
they
so
said.
that
I
was
like, oh, it's half and
yeah.
half.
Yeah, so we got half and half of that, ladies and gentlemen. So I thought that was all right.
She's saying some crazy shit too. I saw what she did I think it was last week's Dynamite.
Are you talking about
Even the
Tony
fact
Storm?
that she's just made tits out like a catchphrase is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Really
Legs
weird.
legs up.
Only she could pull it off though. She has
Watch
like
the
I don't know.
shoe.
There's just something about her character that like if she was like that in real life, I could see her talking like that to people in real life, and it just seems to fit. Whereas like if I were to say some shit like that to a person in real life, they'd be like giving me looks or calling the police or something.
Yeah, I mean, and then petting the back of their head like they were a dog.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so
And then
weird.
and then giving you the chocolate from their bosom. I just
So weird.
it's just
Tony Storm is really when this gimmick started, before she started, she's now that like Mariah May has come in
oh my
and Deonna
god.
Purrazzo, and now that she's kind of got some substantial people to run this character with, I liked what she was doing in the beginning, and I was all for her character, but the way it's evolving week by week to like how she is right now, even to when she first began this gimmick, it's evolved quite nicely. I'm really like she's one of the better bright spots of AEW right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the assessment. Um, Sarah, what did you think of the segment?
I thought it was like you had already mentioned. I thought it was cool. They did the half and half black and white, half in color. I think it's really, I think it's funny how Deonna Purrazzo, she was just cracking up. It's like she can't take Tony Storm seriously with this characterization that she's doing. basically called her out for acting like a psycho crazy person, that she's totally not acting like herself.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, they're building towards them having a match at Revolution, which I can't be mad at. I mean, they're building towards Revolution. And I said it, we talked about it a little bit last night, when we did the watch along. I'm very happy that they started to build right now towards Revolution. They're not leaving stuff until the last, to the last minute. They're building stuff now for it, which is good.
Right. I agree with you. I agree with the assessment. So on an entertainment level, what do you give this segment?
Mm, Probably, I don't know, like a 6.5. It was
All
all right.
right. All right. Well,
For the
I'm
Tony
gonna
Storm segment?
Hmm.
Damn,
wasn't
last
like-
night's Dynamite really was awful.
It wasn't the greatest, that's for sure.
right.
Crowd was like this the whole night. Like I only saw bits and pieces,
The crowd was dead.
and the crowd was shit for what I saw. But
Yeah.
I'm surprised
They
even
were
for like
so
Tony Storm, they were.
quiet. Yeah, they were
Did they-
quiet.
Were the tickets free in Savannah?
No,
like,
no,
hey, if you've
no,
never seen
they-
wrestling, come out and watch.
Well,
and the people are like, "What is this?"
Here's the thing: they sold. The AEW sold, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it was 15,672 tickets. Out of that 15,000, ladies and gentlemen, from what I understand, they probably got less than 15. The crowd just was not invested. They pretended that they were invested and they bought those seats, but then they decided at the last minute, I'm not going to show up tonight. I'm not going to watch no wrestling. That is not a wrestling market. Savannah is a place where they have bed and breakfast. They have, if you want to see some Southern hospitality, if you want to see the history of Savannah, that is what Savannah is for. It's not a sports town. It's not a town where you can just go there and see a horse race or something like that. That is not what Savannah is for. And I don't understand why WWE and AEW keeps going to that market. It's not a sports town. You gotta go to towns where they got sports going on, like Indianapolis or Los Angeles or Florida or Atlanta. Where you are in Wisconsin there, Sarah, go to there in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
There are places in the market where you got to look at your demographic and know where you're going. Even Texas, go down there and do that market because they love sports down in that market, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure.
So when you go to these places like Louisiana, Bossier City, and all, these places are not sports towns. They're not, and you're not going to draw the audience.
Very true.
So, yeah. So, Swerve Strickland took on Jeff Hardy. Hooligrim, did you see that match? Hooligrim is a little busy right now.
Sorry. What'd you say?
Did you watch the Swerve Strickland match?
Swerve and
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. No, I didn't see the match, but apparently Jeff Hardy swerves when he drives.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And
I didn't book the fucking match, Earl. I'm sorry. Why would they book that match? Why? Some sick fuck in the back booked that match. You got to at least admit that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got the pun.
Swerve when I drive. Hey, you know what? Let's put him in a match with Jeff.
Right. Now, let me ask you something. Would you do the Prince? Would you do the Prince Nana? Yeah.
See, Hooligrim gets it.
Prince Nana's dope.
Anyway, ladies and
I
gentlemen,
love Prince
Hooligrim
Nana.
gets it.
right, exactly. Mac the
Yeah, because I
Giants
swerve
fan.
when I drive.
Yeah.
Mac the Giants fan wouldn't do it, and neither would Nick. He said no.
What?
Uh, he
Why
said
not?
he will
Party
not do.
poopers.
They're not doing the Prince Nana. They told me no.
They're party poopers.
They told
What's
me
a,
no. Ladies and gentlemen, they told me no. So
how does Prince Nana do it? I
and
have
then,
not.
and then the windshield wipers go woo 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 woo. And it goes like that. That is the Prince
Oh my
Nana.
god, that's amazing.
They do the Prince Nana. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
There, I did it.
You did
Okay.
it. You did a good
See,
job. That was great.
because the thing is, you're a good sport, but you know, well, I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, um, the match was fine. The match was okay for what it was.
I
Um,
heard that people were really surprised at Jeff in the match. Apparently, Jeff did very good.
yeah, he did. He held his own against Swerve Strickland. I have to admit it. The match went back and forth. Great
Yeah.
chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everybody played their part well in the match. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Um, yes, Sean C. Thank you so much. Sean C. is one of our loyal soldiers, ladies and gentlemen. He created Roachamania, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he
But
did.
yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah, what did you make of the match?
Um, I thought the match was good. I always like watching Swerve. Swerve 2024.
Yeah,
He's gonna be champion. He's
facts.
got to be champion this year.
He has to.
Um,
Has to.
absolutely no question. Like he's just skyrocketed in the last year. He is just going off like a rocket ship.
Isn't it crazy? Because I don't think anybody saw when he
That's
arrived
right.
in AEW this. Now I knew Swerve
Exactly.
also from the Lucha Underground days as Kill Shot, and to this day he still was in one of the craziest fucking matches I've ever seen with my own eyes, in that Weapons of Mass Destruction match with Marty the Moth. Um, and then loving him even more when he got to NXT. Loved what he did in NXT, and then he hits the wall, getting demoted to the main roster, right? So when he leaves, it was like, damn
Sad.
it. I was really angry about what had happened with him from NXT to the main roster, that he would even have to then have to go to AEW to stay relevant in the wrestling game. But when he got to AEW, I knew he was going to get more of an opportunity than what Vince was going to give him. But I didn't even foresee, like, to see everybody on social media going, Swerve, Swerve. No, he needs to be champ. Like, to see everybody now latching on to Swerve like this makes me really, really happy for him. And I even myself didn't even see this type of
Oh
response. Like,
no. Yeah. Do you guys think, let
Um,
me ask you a question. I know we're supposed to talk about this match, but with the way Swerve was terminated from WWE and how successful he is and just how much he's grown um, in his time in AEW, do you think maybe WWE is kicking themselves a little bit right now for
I think so because here's the
getting rid of
thing.
him?
I agree with your assessment. I agree with it. Yeah, I think they are kicking themselves because look, he's thriving in AEW. He's being successful. He's done things that I don't think the WWE would even come up with some script, and I think he's doing great as a character.
you know who's kicking
Um,
themselves? Shit
so,
row.
Yes. That's what I call them too.
Because he was part of that whole
Yes, he
crew that they
was.
all got
yes, he
they all
was.
got sent home, and he went
Yes,
to
exactly.
AEW. They brought Shit
Right.
Row back, and then
It failed.
wiped their asses with him for a second time on the same piece of toilet paper. Wow.
Pretty much.
Um, Yeah, trend that worldwide, ladies and gentlemen.
Hashtag shit row.
Right, exactly.
Sorry, I
Um,
know you don't like to swear, Earl, so I'll swear for you.
oh my gosh, ladies. At times, ladies and gentlemen, it does fit the narrative.
Yes,
Um,
it does.
anyway, ladies, you know something, ladies and gentlemen. I just have to before I go to the entertainment level. My co-pilot Sarah this week, ladies and gentlemen, she has become real picante spicy. Something that
Can't help it.
this whole week, ladies and gentlemen, she
I
has been
try to
very
bite my
straight.
tongue.
She has been she's been very straightforward with her feelings. And by the way, Sarah, I had
You're
a
being
conversation.
straightforward with your facial expressions. What's going on?
I do
uh,
get straightforward with my facial expression.
so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to Vichkovsky this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I was talking about you, Sarah, and I said she's becoming picante spicy this week, ladies and gentlemen. And then I said to her, I said, by the way, she said, oh, Mitch, you're such a slacker. And he laughed, he thought it was funny. I said, isn't she funny? I said, isn't she
Good.
funny, Mitch?
I'm glad he thought it was funny and he didn't terminate my contract or
No, no,
suspend me.
no.
You're fired.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
You're fired, pal.
but this will be your last stream. Anyway, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen.
You're gonna be the first member of the Mitch Kofsky Kiss My Ass Club.
No. I'm not going to allow that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, no. Anyway,
Fuck her up.
oh my gosh. Oh
Fuck
no.
her up, Buttercup.
Oh yes, and trend that worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. Um, um, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. Um,
I
uh,
digress.
yes. Oh, the
There
June bugs are jumping up in here. Oh Lord, have mercy. I'm getting prayer cloth. Anyway, ladies and
Clutch
gentlemen.
your
Anyway.
pearls.
You sound like you're from Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, well. oh my gosh. Anyway,
Oh, shout out
ladies
to
and
Savannah, by the way. That's a beautiful, beautiful state.
Beautiful.
Just not.
Yeah.
Don't ever take pro wrestling there again,
No,
please.
no.
Yeah.
It's not a pro wrestling town. It's
No.
not. Um.
It's not.
So, on an entertainment level, sir, what do you give this match?
I'd give this match. I'd give this match an 8. I
All
thought they
right.
both did a very good job.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
An 8.
An 8. Okay. I
The
didn't hear
Swerve
you.
is great,
I was coughing.
and I thought Jeff Hardy did a very good job. They both
Right.
were awesome.
I totally
Yeah.
forgot to watch that match before we went live today. I should have done that earlier today. I meant to, but I totally spaced out.
That's okay.
Okay.
But I can see
Um.
that match being good.
So, on an entertainment level, I'm going to give it the same wavelength as sir. I'm going to give it an 8. I give it an 8 too.
But
I
you
thought
guys
the
didn't
match.
have a problem with the fact that it was just a randomly thrown together match?
No, listen. You have to understand something. Yeah, I understand about surroundings, but you have to understand something. We're heading to Revolution, right? And they're starting to plant the seeds of long-term storytelling booking here.
Right.
And you have to understand something here. If you're going to start putting pieces together of the matches, of the things that you might see on this pay-per-view, some of these wrestlers will have to do these random matches because they
Right.
have to be relevant on television in order for us to sell the pay-per-view and the card. So
Right.
that is something that is irrelevant here, and you have to look at that overall picture here because we still have no idea what the matches are yet. Until that fills out, next week. We're in the month of February, so we have to you have to
Matches
understand.
are crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to understand that we have to build towards revolution. So you're gonna
I do
see things.
understand that. I
Yeah,
do.
you're gonna see things on television that may not make sense to you, but in the same token, it kills two birds with one stone. You're getting a match on television that's maybe new and fresh. Plus, you're getting the person that may be possibly going into the revolution and the card itself.
Correct.
So everybody has to fit in one bookshelf. and everyone has to be put in strategically in a bookshelf.
Right.
So that is what Tony Khan is doing, and that's what how his mind works.
I think
Um,
what gears me, like what even made me ask the question is the fact that so when Swerve was supposed to face Keith Lee, and
mhm,
then they changed it because Keith Lee was injured or whatever.
mhm.
So then what? Like I would have just left Swerve off of that show, as opposed to just throwing Dustin Rhodes in there, so that you could get Swerve on the show because he's who you're pushing. Like we've already seen a whole bunch of Swerve. Like to me, you don't need to see Swerve every week, at least right now. We know the trajectory he's on. We see the push that he's been given. So then you get to a match like with the Jeff Hardy or another person that's just randomly put together to build Swerve going into the pay-per-view. It just, to me, it feels like Tony Khan's aware of Swerve's how over he is. So it's like, here, we just got to put him in everything we can. And
Well, yeah, no, I understand what you're
He wants
I
to
don't
saying.
want Swerve getting
capitalize.
injured for one.
No, no,
I don't
no,
want him
no, I
having to
don't.
take
No, I
time off. I don't want him
understand.
getting
Right.
burnt out.
Right.
I don't want us getting
Yeah,
burnt
no,
out with
no,
seeing Swerve.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying to you is, okay, during that week when he was supposed to take on Keith Lee, Swerve was hardly on television. He was in segments. He did put him in segments to make him relevant. He was in a couple of matches, but not
He was
over
in that
excessively.
tournament.
Right, he was in the tournament, but he wasn't overly excessively used at that point. Um, they just needed to build on the storyline between her and him and Keith Lee. Unfortunately, Keith Lee, due to the medical reasons, couldn't get cleared enough in time to. So they've already advertised him to go into the match. They had to do something else on the fly. So
Yeah, yeah. I would have just
that
left
is
it alone.
why Dustin was inserted in the match. If they felt that that they wanted to make him relevant, they have to make him relevant because like everyone wants him to. They want him to go in that championship conversation piece. And in order to be in a conversation piece and a champion, you've got to be relevant on television and you've got to be booked in some matches. You got to be booked in some matches. Now some matches may not make sense. Some may do. Or sometimes they may not book him in a match. They may just put him in a segment. And he's talking to Renee Paquette or something like that. But at least he's relevant on television, and that is why he's being used like that. You have to you have to sit back and really take your mind and really draw from the inference of what is being used here and what purpose is it and what brick and what layer of story we're going to try to put into the masonry of the long-term story booking.
No,
That's all I'm
everything you
saying.
said makes total sense, and I'm not disagreeing. You're actually more right than what I'm saying. I was just speaking as a fan, like, and how much I love Swerve. There's just
Right,
a few important reasons why I would have just kept him off of that show and not thrown
right.
Dustin Rhodes in it, or
Right. But it all served a purpose. It served the narrative. It all fit the narrative of we've already said the cat was already out the bag and we've already put him in this match and we have to make him relevant. So in order to make him relevant, we have to put somebody in his place. So that's what they did. So you have to understand the more he's on television, the more the stock will rise. And once the stock keeps rising, now he gets put in the championship conversation piece, and then
yeah, but
that
he's
piece,
already in that conversation and he's already relevant to the point where if you would have left
right?
him off, it
Well,
wouldn't have
yes,
made him
but you but
irrelevant.
you but you need the exclamation point. You need the exclamation point, and I think that exclamation point is coming very soon.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Are you good over there,
I'll,
Sarah?
you all right, Sarah?
Oh yes, I'm okay. I'm just adjusting myself on the couch because I keep sliding down.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like trying to make myself comfortable again. It's like I
Okay.
keep sliding down, so you'll see me going down like that.
So, did you see? Okay, so now let me ask you something, Hooligrim. did you see Thunder Rosa taking on Red Velvet?
No, I did not because I was fighting sleep.
Okay,
Oh,
The
sorry.
show. My
Uh,
my my lack of my sleep schedule is a very is not a structured one. So when I see a show like AEW put on last night, like literally I doze off. I missed much of the show due to me
dozing
doing
off.
my best imitation of the Undertaker.
uh,
Oh, rest in peace.
okay, so that's okay. Well, me and Sarah will fill in the donut hole. Sarah, I'm going.
Pause.
For a
I'm
second,
not
I
going.
thought you were gonna say JD. For a second, I thought you were gonna say JD McDonut. Like I say, that's what I call him.
And
Oh my goodness.
so Sarah, what did you make of this match? Thunder Rosa took on Red Velvet.
I thought it was okay. I mean, and I get it that Tony Khan is, he's trying to build the women's division, which he's been doing much better at that lately, I have to say. But to Hooligrim's point, it's like, are they maybe building something for Thunder Rosa to do it at Revolution? Because again, this seems like a kind of a pointless match.
Right.
I mean, anybody that gets in the ring with Red Velvet or Lady Frost, or I mean, there's a couple of women that whoever gets in the ring with them, I know the other person is winning. Like these women, they don't win. They're just, it seems to me like they're glorified jobbers, basically.
Right.
Which is a shame because they're very good. But
All right.
so I thought it was okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to agree with your
She
assessment.
said jobbers.
Ugh.
I did. I said jobbers.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, jobbersareus.com. Ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
no.
Like
Ugh.
Pee Wee's Playhouse. Jobbers, word of the day. Ah!
At Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes. Yes, ladies
Cherry,
and
if you know, you know.
right.
gentlemen. Yeah. We're old school, ladies and gentlemen, but we're cool, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see from my
I'm just
tagline.
old.
Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. The match was fine. The match was okay. I had no issues with the match whatsoever. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everybody played their part well in the match.
I heard you
It was-
forgot Julia Hart's name in her promo. We're talking about Thunder Rosa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. She
When,
forgot Julia Hart's name?
Yeah, I heard that in her promo when she talked about the two champions, she said Tony Storm, and she couldn't remember in the moment of on the mic Julia Hart's name.
Oh, maybe I didn't pay
Us,
attention.
they were
to
saying
that
it was kind of
part.
an awkward moment. I didn't see it
That's
though.
crazy.
You know, it reminded me of what Gunther said on Monday Night Raw when he said the Royal Rumble was taking place on a Sunday. No, that was
I think because their native languages aren't English, like I don't fault them for it. Thunder Rosa is probably trying to translate in her mind as she's talking on the fly. So it probably was no fault of her own, but it also is not really a good look when you don't remember the champion's name in your promo.
exactly. Well, a lot of people backstage were not happy with Gunther mixing up the Royal Rumble.
Really?
No, they were not happy about that backstage.
I'm mad at WWE for changing for changing the day to Saturdays. It's been Sunday my whole entire life.
No, you have to understand something. The arenas that the WWE does book these shows in, they have other things to do on their calendar on a Sunday, so they don't have any availability to put them. And Nick Khan has already says that Saturday is more lucrative for the company than a Sunday show. So that is the reason.
I feel like WWE just switched to Saturdays to combat
Yes.
AEW.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
All
before
these venues had no problem doing Sunday WWE pay-per-views my whole life up until
well, I understand that was back in the days. This is now. This is now. You got concert tours that go through all of these arenas and stuff like that, and they got to book them in the calendar accordingly. So
Hey,
they
I'm
got to
happy
work.
they switched it to Saturday
I
because
don't know.
I've
I
never
don't.
been to a
you know,
concert on a Sunday.
I have.
yeah.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm. Mhm. When the old Izod Center, before the old Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey, got torn down, I saw Prince on a Sunday.
Oh, you lucky.
I saw
oh
Prince,
wow.
ladies and gentlemen, and it was the hottest show on the planet, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe it.
That man tore the house down, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
We did not leave that arena, ladies and gentlemen, until almost 1 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah,
ladies
I
and
Oh
heard
gentlemen.
my
his shows were
goodness.
killer.
He was
I never got a chance to see
amazing.
him, but he was
He
one of my
was
favorites growing up.
amazing. And I'm so glad that I
Jeez.
got to see him right there,
Yeah,
ladies and
you're
gentlemen.
lucky.
Yeah.
You know the
I
whole
was.
debate growing up, because you guys are kind of close to me in age. Um, the debate growing up was always who was better, or who was your favorite, Michael Jackson or Prince, and I always there was something. I love MJ too, but there was just something that always resonated with me about Prince. I don't know what it
I mean,
was.
because he brings the audience. He brings the fans out. Little children, big people, all different colors of the rainbow. Everybody just go. I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. That night in that concert, that was amazing. He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. How he came out there and he says, "I'm not done." Of course, they're not done. Then he brought out Morris Day and the Time. It was absolutely fantastic. It was one of those feel good moments, ladies and gentlemen. It was one of the feel good moment concerts that I will never forget. Leaving
I
the
grew
eyes
up
of
a big rock and roll fan,
yes.
grunge era fan, and my experience with Prince was like he was a big pop star in the 80s and the early 90s.
Hmm.
I did not know when as a kid that he knew how to play multiple instruments. So when I first saw My Guitar Gently Weeps, when he's on the stage cranking out that guitar solo with Tom Petty and everybody else, it blew my mind because I was so used to hearing his pop music. And when I saw him, that's literally probably my favorite guitar solo ever, by Prince of all people. He was
That's so cool.
Yeah,
a one of one for sure.
he was one of the best, ladies and gentlemen. He was one of the best. Um,
Back to wrestling,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's cool. That's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. So, on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
Like I said, it wasn't great. It didn't suck. I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the same wavelength you do. I'm gonna give it a 5. 12. I
Who did
thought
she
the match.
wrestle?
Thunder Rosa took on Red Velvet.
Oh, Red Velvet. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Now we're up to the main event of Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen. It was Yonora Suzuki, ladies and gentlemen, taking on Adam Copeland. The match was fine. The match was all right. I had no issues with it. This was the first time Adam Copeland taking on Nora Suzuki. And I'll tell you this much later. The match was physical. The match was hard.
Oh
Ladies and
yes.
gentlemen, the match left me breathless, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever, if you are a wrestler and you want to wrestle the Suzuki, you better have a heart transplant on standby. Because I'll tell you this much, that man, when he chops you, ladies and gentlemen, those hard dishpan hands, ladies and gentlemen, you will feel every stitch of nuance that he's doing to you in that ring. He wants to make sure that you remember him for the rest of your life, ladies and gentlemen.
Didn't you say something last night that it said that when Suzuki hits you, it feels like you're getting hit by a frying
A
pan.
frying pan, yes, because his hands is so hard. His hands, there's just no give to his hands. His hands is physical, and he doesn't care. When he starts sticking out his tongue, ladies and gentlemen, he starts wanting to chop the mess out of you. He's gonna hurt you. You better get out
I
of that
wouldn't want to
corner.
get a trap by him. No
No,
way.
no, I ain't taking that.
No.
No, I ain't taking that. I'll take his clothes back to the locker room if you want me to, but I'm not doing that. No,
Right?
no. Just give me what I owe, sir, and I'll take his clothes back.
Right.
Anyway, but no, no, no,
Yeah,
uh,
there's mm-mm.
no way.
Oh,
So, Hooligrim, what did you make of the match itself?
Well, I had a lot of anticipation waiting for the match over the last hour of the show. I was really looking forward to the match, actually, until we got to the match. Hearing you say it left you breathless makes me apprehensive to speak freely on what I truly thought of the match, because I don't want to. I don't like this goes back to our point that we were talking about earlier about how wrestling fans, we watch the same thing, but not everybody's going to feel the same way about what they see. And what I saw was something totally different, I think, than
Well,
at least what I got from the match was something on the opposite end of what you
the
got from
spectrum,
it. And
right?
my thing was, I'm really big when I'm watching wrestling on the television into the crowd participation helps draw me in. And if it's a match that you're just doing a one-off of sorts with no storyline behind it, and you're just
Right.
having two guys face off against each other in a dream match of sorts, if there's no story behind it, the crowd at least needs to be lively for the match for me to sit there and feel any sort of investment.
sure.
This crowd for this main event, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I feel like that was the quietest they had been the entire night, and I was shocked at how quiet it was in there
Mm-hmm.
for these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough if you don't know who Minoru Suzuki is because you're not familiar with New Japan, because it was not on cable TV before internet and streaming here in America weekly. So you had to, however you came across it, you came across it. But we're talking about Adam Copeland, and the fact that the crowd was making no noise. It's not very often where I feel a crowd is being blatantly disrespectful, and I thought they were blatantly being disrespectful to both of those men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then as I'm continuing to watch the match, and nobody's cheering, the front row, the guys are looking at their phones. If the people that paid money to go to the show obviously do not give a shit, why do I
Why
give a
should
shit?
I? Yep.
So I'm watching this match, and then I notice, is this a carbon copy move for move match of the match that Suzuki did with Moxley, and the Suzuki match with Kingston and whoever else they've had it? It's literally the same. Minoru Suzuki at this stage of his life is literally just having the same match with everybody he's having a match with. And that became obvious because there's nothing else to distract me from the fact that it was such a weird match for me because of just the no crowd involvement, and I thought people would at least be cheering to see Adam Copeland, or the fact that they were getting a dream match, even if you don't know who Minoru Suzuki is. Maybe you'll go home and look him up, and that'll get you into Japanese wrestling or something. Um, and then at the very end, when Adam is talking after he beats Suzuki, the guy literally is standing there texting on his phone right behind him. And not one person in that. I watched the front row. There were people behind him in the rows clapping. Some people were cheering, not very loud. A lot of people stood there staring, but that entire front row, not a single person clapped. And I felt, if you're paying the money to sit front row at a show, you've been to wrestling shows. You're not paying top dollar to go to your first wrestling show if you don't know who anybody is to sit in the front row. So that whole row of individuals did that shit, in my mind, on purpose, because they didn't want to see Edge versus Minoru, whatever their issues were. Still stand up and clap, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Give credit where credit's due.
yeah, I'm going to agree with the assessment, your assessment, and your breakdown of the match. Okay, but here's the reason why I said it left me breathless. Here's the reason. What I meant was by breathless, I mean the way he was chopping Adam Copeland.
Knocking the wind out of you.
That left me breathless.
Like you're saying, like you could almost feel it yourself, right?
Yes. It was almost like I was in the corner taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, that left me breathless.
He does chop like a savage.
He do a diced and sliced Adam Copeland in this match.
Loud.
And that left me breathless.
That's the thing too. It wouldn't have been that loud had the crowd been making noise.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Good point. Excellent point. There was no crowd participation in this match whatsoever. Big fat zero.
I missed the intros to this match because I run to do something, probably in the kitchen or something real quick. So when I come back, they're already in the ring. And so immediately the first thing I notice is there's no noise coming from the crowd. And I'm like, is my thing on mute? And I'm like, no, I can hear the announcers.
No.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like watching this match going, why is nobody cheering? What's going on? Like, did I miss something? What happened? It was very surprising.
So there was zero crowd reaction to this. Whatsoever. There was no
unbelievable.
There was no crowd reaction to this whatsoever. The match should have been booked in a library, ladies and gentlemen.
Or more.
What was that, Sarah?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, Hooligrim, did you say something?
Said, yeah, or a library or a morgue.
Yeah, well, yes. The match was physical, hard hitting, and a lot of entertainment to it. Sarah, what did you make of the match?
I was very looking forward to the match simply because of who Suzuki is and the fact that we've never seen him in a match with Edge before, Adam Copeland. And everybody knows Edge is one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. I love him. And, it got me thinking too that if he had stayed, a lot of people are getting, still up in arms that he left WWE and went to AEW. But if he was still in WWE, we wouldn't be seeing this right now. So it was a special thing. It was a special thing to see. And I understand a lot of people are like, this doesn't make sense. There's no story behind this. I read that a lot on social media last night. And I was like, not everything has to have a story behind it. This is kind of a once in a lifetime thing.
Right.
But like you said, Earl, it was very, very physical. I mean, it was kind of almost jarring, the chops when Suzuki was chopping Adam Copeland. It was very jarring.
Yes.
Why was this the main event though, and not Swerve and Jeff Hardy?
I don't know.
Because this was a dream match.
Like a dream booking? Okay.
It was built like a dream match, and you have to understand, this is the first time that Adam Copeland, I believe this is the first time Adam Copeland's ever met Mr. Suzuki.
Yeah.
And this had to take prominence. So it's just like with Sting. Sting needs to close Revolution, and that is why they had Adam Copeland closed Dynamite because of the special significance of this contest.
Do
You know,
either of you know, like, I guess I'm gonna try to look it up now. Do you guys know, either of you, how this match even came about? Was it just something that Suzuki was
um,
available
oh
and
well,
Adam Copeland wanted to
you
do
know that
it, or
Edge wanted to do it, I believe.
I think Edge wanted to do
okay?
it. Not only that, but he has that open. That I believe I forgot
Oh,
what
so
they
this kind
called.
of plays into the.
Right into that,
Oh,
right?
okay,
Exactly. Edge has that open. He has that
okay,
open
yeah,
contract,
that Hope
and
Open or whatever.
Suzuki stepped right. Suzuki stepped forward and said, "I want a piece of Adam Copeland."
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that is the reason why he answered the
okay,
bell.
okay.
Um,
Fair enough. I just
on
didn't
an
know because I'm like, did they just look to see if Suzuki was available and kind of paired these
no,
two up since
he
they
wanted
never
he answered it.
done it?
He answered
Or
the challenge.
Edge kind of, I
okay,
believe, has a similar deal to Sting in where Tony Khan's pretty much letting him pick his spots.
Yeah,
oh, that's
well,
cool.
yeah, because Edge is a special cat, just
Yeah.
like Sting. Sting is just you can't just throw these guys out in the
He's an
match.
attraction. He's like
Yeah,
Roman
Yes,
Reigns is the WWE. He's not just your typical.
yes.
At least in my mind,
Oh,
I see him as a special attraction, or at least this
who
event would be a
oh
special
yeah,
attraction.
yeah.
you mean Roman Reigns?
Well, I'm saying WWE treats him as their like special, quote unquote, special attraction, regardless of like.
He's like the boil of life. I mean, you can't remove it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
You mean a boil on the butt of life?
yes, exactly that. Yes.
Put the ones up.
I do this. Like I said, I'll acknowledge my tribal chief, but what I'm going to acknowledge, people aren't going to like very much.
Right, exactly.
I will tell him
Anyway,
he's number one, but with a different finger.
right,
That's how I
right,
acknowledge him.
right. I told you, everybody, what happened this week. I told you, the restriction list is off the table. I
You weren't
told you.
dry. You weren't lying. Picante spicy.
Hmm?
It tastes
I
spicy.
told you.
I do not hide my disdain for Roman Reigns.
Uh,
I'm burnt. I'm burnt out. I am burnt out on him and his lack of being
You're
around.
burnt out on his $40,000 smile.
um,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. I've been burnt out on it for like a year and a half.
I've been done with it since two, so I'm done. Um, so anyway, on an entertainment level, Hooligrim, what do you give this match?
Well, unfortunately, I had high hopes for this match. I thought I was going to be more entertained. I felt really, like I said, really bad for the guys based off the lack of crowd participation was extremely disrespectful in my opinion. They did that
Right.
on purpose, and it took away from their match. It made me mad that the match was even happening. Everybody, if you know pro wrestling, you know that the human body has what they call a bump life. Your body can only withstand so many bumps, and it's different for everybody. And the way these guys were hitting each other, they are literally taking bumps off of their shelf life, of their careers, and to get no reaction, you might as well have just been spitting on them in the ring. But like I can't think of anything more disrespectful as a wrestler than a crowd that's going to sit there and purposely not make noise. Um, no cheering, no booing, just literally no freaking noise. It took away from the match. I ended up not liking the match. I thought it ended up being a waste. It just completely put me off of the whole thing, and I wasn't really entertained. It made me feel like Minoru Suzuki is there's no benefit for AEW on having Minoru Suzuki on their show. There's just not here in America. So why did this even need to happen? Put this match in a town where there's a market for wrestling, where the fan base is more informed on New Japan, where that there's going to be some sort of reaction. Savannah, Georgia. You're gonna have a dream match in Savannah, Georgia. Why? At least put it in a town where the people know who the two wrestlers are.
Right.
How do you not know who Edge is? How are you not
Agreed.
cheering? Like I said, I don't care if you don't know who Minoru Suzuki is. There is one half of that match, you know who the F is in that match. How are you not cheering? Well, like the AEW fan base, like, what do you guys want? What is going to make you people happy? I just can't with AEW right now. I'm just totally the product, the fan base, just a lot of it. There are bright spots. There are things I like about it, but overall, as a whole, when you're talking about the grand picture of AEW, and that's crazy because I was so on board with AEW for the first 3 years, and the last year and what's carrying on into this year, I'm like, what's going on? What has happened? Like, there's definitely something going on internally in the company that supersedes CM Punk, backstage drama with Jack Perry. Something's going on that's causing what we're seeing on TV and the drop off, the significant drop off. And I hope they get it fixed because I love WWE. I've loved it my whole life and pro wrestling. And in order for pro wrestling to thrive, I think there needs to be healthy competition. If AEW goes away, all we're left is with WWE again. I do not want another 15-year ruthless aggression era. I really don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So, what number do you give this match?
I give the match, out of respect for both of those men, I'll give the match a 5.5.
Okay.
5.5.
I like your assessment about the match.
Because I really want to give it a 2, because the crowd really pissed me off, but I can't. It wasn't the wrestler's fault in this case. It's not like they were botching. It's not like they had a bad match. It was the crowd is like, it was almost like I was watching spoiled children pout because they weren't getting their way. That's what it felt like. That's how the crowd came across to me.
Right.
I just wonder if that's maybe the reason why they didn't cheer was because they were disappointed it was Suzuki coming out and they didn't know who he was. So they thought, oh, I'm going to
like this is our main event. Like,
cheer.
What kind of main event is this? Boo.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I thought maybe would the crowd have reacted differently and been a little more lively had the Swerve Hardy match and this match been flipped, just replay, switch those two around. Put Jeff and Swerve, who people both know, as the main event when you're pushing Swerve anyway, and Edge and Suzuki can be open the show, or halfway through the show, or whatever you want to do.
I feel like
yeah. I don't know.
But that crowd was atrocious.
Yeah. This wasn't good with the crowd level, but anyway, on an entertainment level, I'm going to give this match a 6.5.
Okay.
The crowd, besides the crowd, I give it a 6.5. The match was fine for what it was. Like I said, it was physical. It was hard-hitting. It was hard-hitting, ladies and gentlemen. And the chops left me breathless.
Oh, no.
Left me breathless.
Are we back?
Yes.
Oh,
we're back.
He's coming back. There he is.
This match left me without question breathless. Sarah, what did you think?
I actually agree with everything you guys both said. Hooligrim took a lot of the words right out of my mouth. I did. It was just very jarring to me. It was so quiet, like we had talked about before, so quiet you could actually hear the echoing of the chops they were doing, which was really crazy.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
like I sat down to watch the match because I missed the intros, like I was saying. The crowd pulled me so out of it. I got back up a couple minutes in and was like did not care. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and watch this. Nobody else wants to watch it, so I felt like two guys were just in an empty warehouse with randoms staring at them going, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It just felt very weird and awkward even to watch it. I was getting secondhand embarrassment sitting there by myself watching it. I'm like, ew, this is cringy. Like, not it.
So
And this is Edge we're talking about here. Like that
I
doesn't
know.
happen. That's
I
not
know.
something I should be saying about Edge. Like I'm not,
So
no fault of either man at all whatsoever.
Yes, I agree.
So
But my God, Suzuki, let me hook you up with my barber guy, please. Let me hook you up with my barber because I don't
And
know
I
what's
was
going
gonna,
on with that
I
hair.
was gonna ask, I was gonna ask that. Does he have like? Because I'm not saying this to like or asking this to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. Does he have like scars on his head or something, and that's why the
yeah,
hair is missing? Or
I think the reason why he has the hair the way he does there. First of all, he wants to look like menacing or something like that with the hairdo, and then
Yeah,
another thing is with
okay,
he
all
does
the
the tongue
treatment.
like he wants to look intimidating and crazy. I
Right,
think.
he wants to look crazy,
okay,
so that's why he did the hair like that. Also, he has staples in his head too. I mean, because this guy, this guy, he takes these horrific. I mean, but then he comes back and he wants to destroy you, and it's just like, my gosh, he's just like Jason in the Friday the 13th, where he just won't go down.
he just keeps coming back.
He wants
He
to come
won't
back and
die.
he just won't. He just roll over,
He
and then
won't lay down for the pin.
so it's like he won't eat the pin either.
Right?
So
No,
so
I wasn't sure if it was scars or if he
right,
purposely cut his hair like that or if it was something to do with his gimmick.
right.
I didn't know. And like I said, I did not mean that like to ask it to be a disrespectful manner or anything. I honestly didn't know.
From far
So,
away, it almost looks kind of like a deformity.
well, it did at first when I first saw it. I'm like, are those like at first I thought it was like he had flames, like his hair where the hair was shaved. I thought it
That's
was supposed to be like flames. I'm like,
shout out Bam Bam Bigelow.
right,
Yeah.
right. So I didn't know. I'm like,
Rest in peace.
well, maybe he meant to have it that way. Maybe he has scarring there and the hair can't grow there. I didn't know.
Sometimes guys have they almost look like fat rolls in their on their head when they shave their heads. I've seen guys like have,
Oh,
and so
sure.
that's what I thought was like they were like divots in, maybe they were like fat pockets that
Okay.
look like that, and then it's like no, he just I think takes clippers and
Well,
just chunks areas shorter than
It just
others,
kind
and
of
it just
does
looks
it,
wild.
however.
Yeah,
well, in the back of my head, I have like a little divot back here in the
I do
back of
too.
my head.
Right here, like a
Yeah,
knot
yeah, yeah,
almost,
like a little
like a
back knot.
Okay.
knuckle. I got
My,
like a
my, my
knuckle
the
back
back of
there.
my head, the back of my head. If you can put one finger in the back of my head, and it looks like a rolling taco back there.
Oh my
um,
gosh.
Taquito.
um,
Now
but
now I want taquitos.
anyway, ladies and gentlemen. So Sarah,
Snack
what
time.
what number do you give this match?
Um, I'm in agreement with you guys. I give it a 6.5 as well.
Yeah, yeah. The match was all right. The match
I
was
should have
fine.
given it higher than I did, but it pissed me off.
So
Fuck that
anyway,
crowd.
ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. Uh,
Shout
Mitch
out to
ladies
Mitch
and
Kofsky.
gentlemen,
Hey,
Kofsky.
Mitch Kofsky, we ain't even talked about the Royal Rumble yet, dog.
Mitch Kelsey, this
We're
has been
literally gonna be here for like 5 more hours, bro. Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair, my guy.
I know.
Like, if you were here for the intro and you heard Earl
Grab your
talk about
brownies, Mitch.
everything we were gonna talk about on this show, I knew. Oh, let me just tell everybody on my phone to fuck off real quick, because I'm gonna be here for a minute.
uh,
A couple minutes.
well, ladies and gentlemen, that was AEW Dynamite. Ooh, Bacardi spicy tonight. That was the end of AEW Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you all so much. Thank you. Yes, Mitch. Unfortunately, with all the wrestling stories that we had to get you, and of course, we had to go through Dynamite to discuss, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 2-hour stream. But at least we're handing in the homework, Mitch. That's the most important thing. We're
This is
handing
Vince
in.
McMahon's fault, just so you know.
Mm.
Yeah, no kidding. The first hour we were talking about Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it was crazy. Um, so we're
Very
going up to the
sweet
Royal
jerk.
Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. We're going up to the Royal Rumble. This is the Royal Rumble prediction show, ladies and
We're
gentlemen.
not talking about Raw or nothing like that. Or are we going
Uh,
to talk about all that stuff in the Royal Rumble?
well, I mean, the Raw this past Monday night was okay. It was the
Oh,
it
you
was
guys
the
do the watch along, so you already talked about it, right?
yes, we
Okay.
did.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
We did discuss that already.
Okay.
The go home show wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. It was kind of a disappointment. Um, but the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time in a long time that the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, is unpredictable. There is no predictable factor in this Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, and I like it like that.
Yes. Like
I like
Hooligrim's
it.
background.
Yep, I like it like that, ladies
My
and
old
gentlemen.
hometown, St. Pete.
So, St. Pete, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, cool.
And ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, the WWE has announced that the construction is almost complete inside Tampa St. Pete and the
Tropicana?
Oh,
Tropicana Field. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it took them 7 hours, ladies and gentlemen, to complete the set. And
Wow.
ladies
I
and
bet the set's
oh
going to look
my.
awesome. The set's going to be dope.
they are coming out of the clubhouse, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very short entrance way.
Better than the
WWE
closet, I guess. Yeah.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
coming out of the clubhouse, ladies and gentlemen, and WWE has set up special screens to block the clubhouse, ladies and gentlemen, as they will come out of that clubhouse, and there will be no pyro used, ladies and
What?
gentlemen, for this. No, there will be no pyro used because of the short entrance way. The WWE has said
Oh
that there will be
man.
no pyro used
What?
for this extravaganza. No, they will not be using pyro this because of the short entranceway, and they want to keep the fans safe. So, if you're
Fuck the
looking for them,
fans.
they will come on the air. They will come on the air, ladies and
Move out
gentlemen.
of the
The air.
way.
Screw
Uh,
safety. I want my fireworks, damn it.
It's a
the-
it's a big old it's a baseball stadium. We're not talking about this is not where like the local
well,
hockey or basketball team plays.
Right?
they made the entranceway very short, very simple, and that is the way they wanted it. And that's the way they're gonna get it. Now I don't know if they're gonna use the pyro for the sign, the WrestleMania sign when everybody wins the Rumble, like they did in the past. That is up to the discretion of WWE management. But there will be no pyro used here, ladies and
No
gentlemen.
pyro for Cody's entrance is gonna be cringe.
Well, look at it this way. It saves the WWE 10 million.
Whoa! No
Yeah,
pyro.
it saves the WWE $10 million, ladies and gentlemen, and
They just got
Oh
10 billion
man.
yesterday, so
well, you have to understand they have to answer to Endeavor, and you have to understand that they don't want them to waste money. So if the interest is small, we will not. Now, when WrestleMania comes around, ladies and gentlemen,
why are we having a short
and
entrance on the big one of the biggest shows of the year though? That
because they only want over 70,000. That's the way they configured the stadium to be. So
so they're bringing more
uh,
people out probably onto the field
they're
more so
probably
that you
wanting
have the
more
high
field,
number.
right? So it looks very full, and it looks like they packed it in, and with the short entranceway, it would look really cool for them to have it like that. So they wanted an intimate setting,
Just
and
a
that's
big
exactly
number
what
on
they
the
got.
screen. This is
Yeah.
lame.
So
So
that is
lame.
what the Royal Rumble's gonna look like on camera, ladies and gentlemen.
But the set should look
But
cool.
yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble. And the men's Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here are the names so far. Now, I'm not going to give away, ladies and gentlemen, any surprises that are in this Rumble. I'm not going to give it away at all. If you're looking for it, look on Saturday night, and they will show you the rest of the field that's coming out. But these are the men that will be in the Rumble that have been confirmed.
Here you
We
are.
have
If you
here,
want to
yeah,
know, just look.
there is Cody Rhodes, there is CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Chad Gable, Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Kofi Kingston. So those are the men that are so far been in the Royal Rumble. So Sarah, based upon what I just said, who do you think out of that list will be the 2024 Royal Rumble winner?
Mm, so I think it's gonna be one of two guys. I think it's gonna be CM Punk
Okay.
or Cody Rhodes.
Which is your
Whichever doesn't
which is your
doesn't.
odds on
Oh, my
favorite?
odds-on favorite. Well, I don't know. Shoot. I guess I would go with CM Punk.
Okay. Hooligrim, out of the men that I just mentioned, who is your favorite to win the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble?
Are we talking about analytically who do I think is going to win or who I want to win?
Um, in your fantasy world, in your booking realm, out of the names that I mentioned, who do you think will walk out of Tampa St. Pete the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble winner?
Up until Raw on Monday, I thought I was pretty clear on who I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But the segment with Gunther and Rollins, I was not expecting. And when
Mm-hmm.
they did that, I don't know if that's to throw us off the scent of the direction they're going in, or they're deciding to go in that direction.
Okay.
And I'm not the biggest Seth Rollins guy. To me, he's the Adam Page of the WWE. We don't need to get into that now, but I at least have a level of respect for Seth Rollins and his body of work as a performer, which is not. There's a higher level of respect for Seth Rollins than I have for an Adam Page. So that being said, I'm not. You won't ever catch me excited for a Rollins match, no matter who he's usually involved with. But when they were talking in the ring, I was getting hyped for this. So
Right.
that deterred my initial wanting CM Punk to win the Rumble. I actually want, because when I thought about it, like Punk just got here, okay, and
Yes.
I'm a huge Punk fan. I was not one of the ones that was against him when all the AEW stuff happened. So
Right.
I was all for him being thrown back into the mix, getting his WrestleMania spot. Great. The run Gunther's been on, I want to see him. I want to see them do something with him, especially now that Triple H is in charge. I
Mm-hmm.
want Triple H is now going to have the ability to take the guys he was grooming and molding in NXT and make them household names. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he got stopped from doing it because it was overshadowing Vince and all of
Right.
those shenanigans going on the main roster.
Right.
So I want Gunther to win the Royal Rumble, actually.
Okay. So, Sarah has Punk. You have Gunther, and I, ladies and gentlemen, out of the
Don't
men.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, Earl. Don't. No! No!
Adrenaline in my soul. Something, something, Cody Rhodes.
I'm gonna beat the stew out of
Whoa!
Cody Rhodes. Anyways, um, okay. Based upon what I think, ladies and gentlemen, in my heart of hearts, I'm gonna go.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna go with the one and the only, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. CM Punk.
No shit.
Yes. Punk will win
Wow.
the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Hells yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
You surprised me, Earl Cole.
Yeah.
Long live CM Punk.
That's right.
Just when you think you
That's
got somebody figured out.
just when as the late Roddy Piper said, just when you answer all the questions, I changed the narrative. So I changed the questions. Excuse me.
When you think you got all the answers, I changed the
I changed the
question.
questions. That's what Roddy Piper said.
Who's Roddy Piper said
Piper,
Yeah,
right.
one of the goats. I got to meet him.
All right, ladies and
Oh my
gentlemen,
god,
let's.
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
A random
Oh,
public walked. I was in a restaurant, walking to my table. I
Oh,
looked
yes,
over,
I
and
heard the
there he
story.
was. Yeah. So
Oh
I
my
was
god.
panicked, and I didn't want to be that guy going up at the dinner
Yeah.
table and being like, "Hey." So as in passing by his table, I just said, "Hey, Roddy, big fan. Been watching you since I was a kid. You know, have a
Oh,
good
that's so
dinner, have a good night." Just kept it
cool.
pushing,
I
but
like that.
he was like, "Thanks, man, appreciate it," and whatever. But
All
See,
right.
that's a classy thing to do.
Yeah, that is a classy move. That's
yeah, it's
really
called reading
classy.
the room. I'm literally shocked. Like I was texting my cousin last night about. Oh no, this morning about the Vince stuff, and my cousin's not an avid wrestling fan. I took him to an NXT house show a couple of years ago, and he used to watch as a kid, but he's not like into it like we are. And I asked him if he heard the Vince news, and even like he was responding back like this is going to be some epic fallout about to happen. Like even he knows.
I'm quite sure we're going to wake up tomorrow morning. We're going to hear more about this, and it
Oh,
won't be
yeah.
good. It's not going to be good.
I believe while we were talking, somebody put something out on social media. TKO is somebody's going to make a statement or something tomorrow. I think I heard or read somewhere.
Okay.
Might be the actual permanent removal of Vince.
We're going to see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the Women's Royal Rumble match. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Maxine Dupree, and Ivy Nile.
Who's that?
I'm going to go. Who?
Yeah.
What was the question, Hooligrim?
I don't. Who's Ivy Nile?
Ivy Nile is the compadre of the Creed brothers. She accompanies the Creed brothers down to the ring.
Okay.
The Creed brothers are former NXT superstars, and now they belong on Raw.
Yeah, they all got called up like I don't know 2 months ago or something.
Right. So, Sarah, let me ask you a question. The list that I just gave you, who is going to win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble?
So, I'll give two scenarios. The first scenario is I would like Becky Lynch to win only because I would like to see a match between her and Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
I'm not listening to this.
I could also see Bayley winning.
La la la
with the whole
la la la
damage
la.
control
I'm just
story.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
It's okay.
Israel. Anyway.
Wasn't that the Smurfs
Dark.
jingle?
Yes, it was.
Smurfs. Yes,
It was,
yes. We're
for
old
sure.
school, but we're cool. Like my tagline.
That's right. I could also see a scenario where Bayley wins to go up against Io. I mean, with all the damage control drama, or we like to call them boring control.
Right.
They're boring as hell. So I could see that happening. Then you also have Nia Jax mixed up in there, and she's, very strong. She's a big gal. I could see her causing some damage, but in all likelihood, I think it's going to be Bayley to go along with the damage control story.
Okay. Hooligrim, out of the list, who is winning the women's 2024 Women's Royal Rumble?
Who won it last year? Becky Lynch?
I
Rhea
believe so,
Ripley won
yes.
last year.
Oh, yeah, Rhea Ripley won last year.
The Royal Rumble? Is she in this year's Rumble or is she in a solo match?
No, I
She's a
don't. I don't.
champion.
She's a champion. I don't
I
know
know
if she's
she's a
in the
champion.
Rumble. She hasn't declared. I don't
Okay.
know.
I feel like Becky Lynch won it. Then she must have won it the year before.
Mm,
I feel like Becky Lynch recently won a Rumble.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think she won it
No.
2 years ago. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't want her winning. I'm trying to think of who I got winning this match. Rhea's the champion, so it doesn't really make sense for her to win, even if she is in it, because she's the champion. So that would be
Right.
weird.
Ronda Rousey won in 22.
Has Becky ever won a Royal Rumble? I swear I thought she won it. That's weird.
2021 was Bianca Belair. I'm looking it up right now.
Really? Okay, then I don't know what the hell I'm
Bianca
thinking about.
Belair won. Charlotte Flair won in 2020.
Okay, then I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Charlotte's injured. You know
You're
what?
right, though. Becky Lynch won in 2019.
God, that was 4 years ago already. It feels like I swear she won it last year. Good
5 years ago.
Lord.
5 years ago.
That's crazy. Okay, so that being said, I feel like Rhea being the champion doesn't make sense if she's in the Rumble. So I don't think she would win it. Because you win the Rumble to go on to try to get your shot to become the champion, right? So
Right.
I'm trying to think of the women's storylines right now and what's going on. Like who makes sense I'd like to see Bayley's never won she doesn't really have any kind of accolades whatsoever other than the women's tag team titles with Sasha, right?
And then she won the women's title.
Oh, yeah, but it's been a minute since she's had an accolade of any sort. I feel like Bayley's always having to take a back seat to everybody else, it feels like, named Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Bianca Belair's had her moment, so I don't feel like she really needs to win it. I'm okay with Asuka, Io, Bayley, any one of them three winning it, to be honest. I'd like to see actually Bayley get some shine. She deserves it.
All right. All right. So Hooligrim has gone with Bayley. And Sarah, who was your pick again?
Bayley.
Okay. So we're going to be on the same page, ladies and gentlemen. Bayley will win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble.
Because that'll in essence, in theory, probably create some sort of ego within Bayley that will then rub her faction mates the wrong way, which will then perpetuate a disbanding of sorts, I'm assuming.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We have the United States Championship match. It is Logan Paul, ladies and gentlemen, taking on Kevin Owens. I'm going to go to Hooligrim first.
Okay.
Hooligrim, who is going to win the United States title?
I don't like this match for the simple fact that I love Kevin Owens and I really genuinely like Logan Paul, and I don't like Logan Paul being a part-timer. I think that he's good enough that he should be a full-time participant in all things going on. That's my preference. So it's hard for me. I don't want to have to root against Kevin Owens, and I really like what they're doing with Logan Paul. So it's hard for me to pick for this match. With that being said, I'm excited to see it because I think it'll be a good match. I think that Kevin Owens sells incredibly well, and Logan Paul, for all intents and purposes, I don't know how he knows how to wrestle. From being a YouTube creator to just deciding, hey, I want to be a WWE guy, and them saying yes, and then he can do what he does in the ring. It's like, how do you know how to do this? When did you grow up practicing wrestling moves and matches when you were a kid?
He's
Like,
phenomenal when he's in the match.
yeah. So that being said, the United States Championship is on the line. How do they have Logan Paul lose? But at the same time, I can see Kevin Owens having the belt and it being a weekly part of the show, like titles and builds for the title matches should be. I honestly don't know. I literally couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this because since
Logan Paul,
Hooligrim,
I guess, just because he
yeah, yeah, I'm going to agree
is
with
popular
you.
on
And
social media.
I think Logan Paul is going to retain the title. He's going to use those brass knuckles again, late Jim. He's going to cheat like he always does, and he's going to retain.
It's so lame, though.
Well, that's the way the booking is. That's what we call lazy booking, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Logan Paul will retain the United States champ. Sarah, what say you?
I think Logan Paul's going to retain. He's going to go and retain through nefarious means,
Yes.
i.e., his brass knuckles. So,
Yep.
Does that continue the
predictable.
storyline between these two, do you think, or does it end the storyline with them two? If Logan Paul wins.
I don't know if this feud will come to an end. I don't know if they want to continue it. I mean,
What does Kevin Owens do after this?
well, I mean, there's many avenues that you can put him into it. Let's say for example, Gunther wins the Royal Rumble, and he's the number one contender for the title. Well, now we're gonna have to have somebody defeat Gunther for that title. And that will probably, if that happens, then I'm going to say an Elimination Chamber, he drops the IC title and he takes on Kevin Owens, which is fine. But then I thought in my head, I said, no, he can't take on Gunther because Owens is on SmackDown and Gunther is on Raw, and they can't intermix. So that plan is washed out the window. So I don't know where Kevin Owens goes after that.
Yeah, me either.
But again, like I said, Logan Paul's going to keep that title.
I guess if you're building to WrestleMania 40, they're going to build it as the biggest WrestleMania ever.
Right.
Who's going to have the U.S. title for a Mania match that's going to pull in numbers? It's got to be Logan Paul, you would think. But it makes more sense to me long term for the title if we're talking about making things relevant week to week if a full-time performer has the title.
Right.
So it's a catch-22 if you go in either direction, if you ask me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're up to the main event.
There's only 4 matches on this card?
Yes.
What?
So far.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So far.
Well,
we have to see what's...
Unless they announce something tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Night on SmackDown. We're only doing 4 matches, ladies and gentlemen.
Are these going to be like are these going to be 2-hour-long Rumble matches or what?
Well, you know, the thing is, the Royal Rumble itself is you have to give it
Usually
time
an
to
hour.
marinate.
Yeah.
You have to give it time to marinate with the audience and everything like that. You don't want to keep putting on single matches and then drawing out the Rumble. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So unless SmackDown produces something tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, we're only going up to 4.
Okay.
And the main event, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Fatal 4-Way for the undisputed Universal title. It is Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus
Yeah.
AJ Styles. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want
We
you
all know how
all.
this is
Yeah,
gonna end.
listen, I just want you all to understand something.
Can only
You
end
know,
one
uh,
way.
yeah,
One.
what was it? Yeah,
The ones.
and,
Earl Cole, tell me you don't give a shit without telling me you don't give a shit.
Pretty much.
Oh, where'd he
Oh
go?
no.
There he is.
You made him
He's
laugh
back.
so hard he went off.
and I'm not doing it, ladies and gentlemen. It's something that's wacky, witchy here. Um, um, I'm going to tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, and I said this in every Roman Reigns match. You're not getting a new title holder. You're just not. The WWE loves Roman Reigns' story. They love it so much, ladies and gentlemen, they use the same whack, lame booking finish. Everybody interferes in the match. The referee goes down. Nobody sees Solo coming into the match. Nobody sees Jimmy coming into the match. Roman Reigns spears the person like he did it all by himself, and he pins the person, and we got to retain it. That is what the booking is all about. Or sometimes they'll change the booking and not have a ref bump, but they'll have interference. Elsie and all her friends come out of the barn and they want to play, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not supposed to be on the dance floor. No, 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 no. They're not supposed to be on the dance floor, ladies and gentlemen, when the
He's
smoke is
never
clear.
losing. He's never losing, Earl.
That's why I'm just saying. That is why I'm telling the audience. If you're looking for something new and innovative at first, you're not getting it here.
Nope.
Roman
Same old, same
will
old.
retain the title. Same old, same lame booking, same wacky finish, same thing.
Let's just
Here you
say
go, Earl.
for shit.
Here's an answer for you. The Miz unplugged your Wi-Fi.
And I choked him with the cord. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not Miz fans around here.
No. So anyway, ladies, and gentlemen, if you're looking for something, I'm sorry you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm sorry to disappoint you all, but
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is retaining. He's going to walk out of Tampa St. Pete, still the champion. He's not participating in the Elimination Chamber. Forget that. He's not participating in that show at all. He won't be back until WrestleMania, where he will defend it in either night number 1 or night number 2, and then he will retain there as well. So that is it. What was that? What was that, Hooligrim?
Oh, just throwing up the ones. Forever champ.
Yeah. Well. Wah.
Like I said, I want to acknowledge him a different way.
Vince
but
McMahon literally said a number of years ago he does not care about audience disdain for a talent, that if you feature someone long enough, eventually they will get over with the audience. And I thought, what a
Nope.
ballsy thing to say, right? And this was right around the beginning of the Roman Reigns shield shoving down our throats, okay? So all these years later, here we sit, and he's like in the midst of like how many years has he been champ? 3?
3.5.
Okay, so here we are all these years later, and it's to the point where I've been force fed this plate of Roman Reigns for dinner for so long. That's like if just eating poop for dinner every night, and 3 years later, like eventually you're just going to enjoy the taste, right? Like you're going to come to expect
No, I'm
that. That's
not.
what you're not enjoy necessarily, but you're going to come to expect the flavor of what your
Right.
meal is going to be, in a sense. So you're familiar with it. So I'm just saying that's kind of what this Roman Reigns run has done to me. Like if he loses it now, I'm just going to be like, what was all of this for? In the grand scheme of things, like to get a mid-carder over and looked at as a main eventer in Cody Rhodes,
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. I've read through the grapevine that Cody may not. They want Cody. They don't want Cody in the main event at WrestleMania. They're looking in a different direction, and
And
I
I
applaud.
applaud that.
I applaud that. And if that is what Triple H is barking on, I agree with that assessment. But again, like I said, like Triple H said in the media scrum many years ago, the story is ongoing. And if the story is ongoing, ladies and gentlemen, that means that Roman Reigns will keep retaining this title until he gets the Hulk Hogan's record, which means that he will retain it at WrestleMania and continue to retain it until mid September. And
Okay,
maybe that will be the day
I
that
have a
the WWE.
scenario.
Yes.
Let's just fantasy book for a second. What would you how would you feel, or what would your reaction to be if they decide, because all of this news now that's come out today is going, like you said, to put sort of a stain on this weekend's festivities. So WWE's PR is going to want to try to counter that somehow with a positive, I would assume. What if they do some shock thing at the Rumble and Roman loses?
Well, I mean, Hooligrim, that would be great, but we all know that he Roman is protected by WWE, and it doesn't matter what goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't matter. They like the same finish. They always write the same finish. It's always predetermined. Roman will walk out of any pay per view still champion, and then he'll come back on SmackDown many weeks later after he's been off of WWE TV for many weeks later, and he's gonna come on the same finish. Acknowledge me. I smashed this person. The other person comes out, challenges him at WrestleMania. He comes out there and he does his thing and he retains, and the audience is disappointed. It's the same thing. The WWE will never move that needle. They'll
Did you
never remove that needle.
did you
Never.
see The Rock on First Take the other day?
No,
No.
I didn't.
He mentioned, that's just got me thinking, because he said to Stephen A. Smith um, something the other day, and I was thinking about this whole Roman Reigns thing, and I don't know. Just part of me knows that sometimes WWE will do something based on, like, they'll pull some knee jerk reaction move based on something that's, come out in the headlines, or I could
Yeah,
just
no,
see him doing that, like, just to
I
throw
understand.
everybody off. But
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Hologram. And
I
we
don't think
all
Roman's
know.
losing either. I just thought, what?
Yeah,
Let's just play along. Let's say
yeah,
he did. Like, what would
yeah.
your reaction be
I
to it?
mean, I would be in shock. I
Yeah.
would be in shock calling the match and looking and seeing him losing. I would relish it, but we all know that that's not gonna
It
happen.
would totally just turn the Mania plans into WTF. Nobody would know what's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah. I mean, again, like I said, the WWE's not moving that needle. They're
True.
just not. That's their cash cow right there. Is Roman, and he's gonna get away with murder. He's gonna hold everyone hostage. He tells people what to do behind the scenes and how to do it, and that's Roman Reigns. That's Roman Reigns. That's why he gets away with murder. That's why he retains the title every single time with the same whack finish. There's nothing different that's going to happen here in this match. Nothing.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right, Earl.
Yep. Nope. They're going to use the same script, same finish, same whack booking, same everything. Yep. It's nothing. It's nothing new. The only thing positive that would come out of this Rumble is that we're guaranteed two new Royal Rumble winners, and that's it. That is it.
I really hope
That,
Cody doesn't win it. I don't want Cody being able to claim that he's a double Rumble winner, the likes of Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold. I really don't want to
well,
hear this.
we'll have to see about that. We have to see
I
about
really
that.
don't want him winning.
We have to see about that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the Royal Rumble. That is the Royal Rumble predictions, ladies and gentlemen, and preview. We will have the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, on the Hardcore Sports Network, powered by Hardcore Sports, ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday night. It'll be me. It'll be Sarah. It'll be He's Got the Roundup. He's got the Roundup. Mac the Giants fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Mac the Giants fan will be on the air with us, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I believe Cherry will be joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, and AK Eagles will be on the panel, and Orange Cassidy's bestie, Mitch Kofsky. Mitch Kofsky is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, he'll be available on that Tallahassee. Ladies and gentlemen. And
Oh,
ladies
so
and
he's
gentlemen,
not going to be a slacker on Saturday.
no. Mitch will be on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be joining us on that Tallahassee. Ladies and gentlemen. But he won't be there the entire time, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be popping out, ladies and gentlemen. And when he pops out, Nick will come in and take over his spot, and he will remain on that show, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to put a bow on this long and very arduous wrestling experience. A 3-hour and 35-minute Tallahassee, ladies and gentlemen. But we got it done tonight. And you all are loyal soldiers in the chat. Thank you all so much for your time and your energy. I want to thank Hooligrim. I want to thank Sarah for her participation in tonight's Tallahassee. And ladies and gentlemen, Hooligrim, this is not the last time you're going to be invited. You will be asked back on the wrestling experience because you were absolutely great. I enjoyed going back and forth with you on wrestling analytics. It was a lot of fun tonight. You always bring it to the table. So thank you so much. You're welcome. And I want to wish everybody a very happy weekend, ladies and gentlemen. But I will be back. I will be back in cyberspace just 24 hours from now. And I'm going to bring you Friday Night SmackDown. Me and Nick will bring you Friday Night SmackDown. It's the Go Home Show. It is the Go Home Show for SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. And that will be on Fox. Ladies and gentlemen.
Is your neck okay there, Earl?
Yes, it's the Go Home Show. It is the Go Home Show. It is the Go Home Show.
No, I'm saying if you're on Twitter, no, this isn't for Roman Reigns. This is follow at WWE Earl C. Follow me.
Thank you. Yeah, follow Hooligrim. Follow Hooligrim. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Sarah on Twitter. And remember, ladies and make sure that you have the correct change. Otherwise, we're going to take it to the Bull of the Woods.
You're going to what?
The Bull of the Woods.
Oh,
the Bull of the Woods, if you will.
That sounds fun. If you're into the deliverance sort of thing.
Oh my God.
Vince might be. Who knows? Oh, is that too soon?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna pass on that. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back on Friday night for Friday Night SmackDown for Hall of Fame Sarah, for Hooligrim. I'm Earl Cole saying so long from ringside and good night, America.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, the Wrestling Experience, with your host, Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also through AEW. You are now watching The Experience, the Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Earl Cole.